property can be $8,000 or $10,000. It all depends, but there's no guarantee that the school district or the county would go in on that, because we're only one township, and I don't know, I can't ever guarantee that.
Well, the school district would be in for a heck of a lot more money. Okay.
So it's probably more in their interest than the townships.
Actually, that's not true.
Okay, well, I
The
propose that,
township, no, because
it
you
be
need to
cut.
understand that. The township, the taxes don't increase. What they levy for, just like what you levy for, is what you're going to get. The school district is fighting for fairness. That's why they want to make sure that some of these properties that need appraisals, they're going to assist with. But it doesn't increase the amount of money that they get. They get what they levy for, just like we get what we levy for here. If your taxes go up, that doesn't mean the levy goes up. It means your portion of the tax burden goes up. School district is trying to keep properties that should be, when we have them assessed at a certain point, they're trying to help maintain that. That's what they're doing. They're not getting any more money from those properties staying up.
Well, I propose that line item be cut in half to 3,000.
And when I need one, where am I going to get it from if I can't transfer it from anywhere?
Let's use your 3,000 first, and then you come to the 3.
Why? I guess I don't understand your rationale for why, if we need it and we never use it, it doesn't go anywhere. It's there in case we need it.
Because the future levies are based on budgets.
You
okay?
you have a levy right now, and this budget is based on what you've levied,
Yeah, well,
and it's within that levy.
just say the board levied, okay?
It's within the levy.
So what? Why do we even have this if we don't have any power to do anything?
You obviously do have power to do something. I'm saying
Okay,
is
so I'm
you're
saying
asking.
$3,000
You're-
for the
you're-
appraisal.
You're doing that based on just, if they never need it. If we need it, where am I gonna get the money if it does? I could come to you and you could say no.
Right.
Because you don't think
That's
I need an
right.
appraisal.
That's right.
Because you don't think I need an appraisal because you don't understand what I do.
Okay, well, I know one thing. This is a big fat zero for last year, which was your quadrennial year. You have to go back through, 3 years to $500 on the appraisal? Okay, you haven't made a case to me to keep it at 6,000, all right?
No, it's not all right, but it doesn't matter. Do what you need to do. I've got work to do. Figure it out.
Right, it doesn't matter, because there'll be ways, if you have a legitimate appraisal that needs to be paid for, we'll
Legitimate based on
consider
what?
it.
On what you think?
We're in charge of the budget, right?
Just do it so I can go back to work.
You don't fill out any time slips, right?
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, so I have a motion to cut that appraisal down to $3,000.
What is it?
It's the line item for appraisal. The actual amount for this fiscal year is 0, although $6,000 was budgeted for it last
You're
year.
cutting 50%.
Yeah,
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a first and second. Any further discussion?
That doesn't mean that we're gonna save $3,000, right? Because it's probably gonna roll over anyway.
yeah, but we're not gonna base future levies on bloated up numbers, okay?
What Steve is actually doing here is basically what people want from the private sector about government, cut the fat out of budgets. And if Steve is going through this and come up with those kind of numbers, I think you can see a little fat there.
But the leviers have already got this figured in.
Yeah, because
Passed
we-
the levy.
But
Because
now
we
we're working
had-
on the budget, okay? We determined that in Illinois, you work on the budget after your levy. It's a very difficult situation. But this is the time that we need to at least look at that thing. If a board thinks that there's fat in that budget, I think we need to take action on it, even though that money was levied. We didn't set it up that way. That's the way it's set up in Illinois. It's a very difficult thing to deal with, public money, the way the system is set up.
And it's why, in a nutshell, the property taxes are so high.
But it also makes Mary's job a lot harder.
No, it's not why property taxes are high. Property taxes are high because of schools.
You weren't asked anything,
No,
okay?
it's okay. Property taxes are high because of schools. 1% of our budget is for your tax bill.
So what? What does that have to do with
It
it?
has to do with
Somebody
everything.
stole $1 million from me, and somebody only
Okay,
stole
let's
2,000?
stick to the budget here. We have a first and a second on this $3,000 for appraisals.
How about compromise and make it 4,000, and then
No.
I'll go along with it.
No, $3,000, that's it. It is a compromise, make it 3,000, okay? Last year it was 0.
All right, let's take a vote. Mr. Anderson?
Yes,
Mr. Rakestraw?
Yes.
Mr. Adams, no. Mr. Podolsky?
No.
Mr. Greer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other items in there you want to discuss?
Let's go through them all. All right, the computer license software, what does that actually mean?
Computer licensing and software. That's what it means.
How many separate licenses does that
8.
involve?
8.
All right, so 2 years ago, there wasn't anything for this. Now,
We broke it up. It was all in one,
It was-
It was all in one line item, and you guys asked for it to be
We broke
broken
it
down.
down, so we broke it down.
So
Okay,
we broke
so-
it down.
so please refresh my memory, what was included in the past?
It was 40,000 before,
Right.
and that was computer maintenance and the software
Okay, right.
license.
All right. And what, are these throughout the year, you get licensed for a new year, or is it all the same time, or what?
The licensing is all one payment.
But it's 8 different entities?
No, our software company.
Like the- Then could you, what did you mean then by the 8 different licenses?
Each, it's licensed to the number of people, the
The
number of
PCs.
computers we can
Okay.
have using the software.
All right. And what is this, since it's a single license, what is it exactly?
Surround.
It's about $1,200.
No, I'm talking about the entity that's getting, that we're licensing from.
How much?
No, the entity that we're paying.
Surround.
Cerrone Computer.
And how do you spell that?
CIRCONE.
CIRO. Cerrone, C-I-R-O-N-E.
CIRONE.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that not what I said?
And they've always been the licensor of our software? Or is this new?
No, it's been in place
They
here
wrote the
for many
program,
years.
right.
They wrote
Fees
the,
just go up.
they wrote the PAMS program that's used by
Right.
most assessors.
When does new license take effect?
August,
It's usually
July.
It's a once a year.
July, September, isn't it September?
It might be September because we paid in July.
So the $15,000 is a guesstimate of what it's gonna be, they haven't really presented anything.
Well, the 14,310 is an actual.
That's an actual number that was,
All right, and that's not going to change now, right?
I don't know. They could raise their fees.
Well, you pay for a year, right?
The 14,310 is for last year, is for the most recent renewal going forward.
Right, and it's a
But-
one-time bill.
Correct,
correct.
Okay, so that is not going to go up between now and March.
correct.
So the telephone, these are private phones that people have when they go in the field or what?
That's part of, that's the office phones and the cell phones for staff.
Right. Internet.
Okay, and the field people, there's 3 of them?
Correct.
So that's 3 phones.
3 field phones, yes,
And then your phone,
correct.
and then what, all the office phones come under that too?
Yeah,
Yeah,
But those aren't cell phones, right?
no, it's a landline. And the internet comes out of there also.
So the landline amount, is that some fraction of the township amount? For the
That-
for the landline telephone?
The landline phones is split between departments.
Okay,
Bill's about 400 and something, 500 and something a month. It's split between the road, town, and assessor.
but is it based on the number of phones each one of them has?
No,
So it's just a third, a third, a third?
correct. Same with the internet bill.
Well, what's wrong with that is that we don't have a, some department is subsidizing than others.
Well, the bill isn't based on the number of phones, it's based on usage. You see that bill every month, the one that shows all the breakdown on it.
Yeah, but has there ever been an attempt to figure out who actually uses the
Oh,
phone?
heck, no. Way too many calls. I've never done that, no. It's a VoIP system, so the way it's billed is different than it used to be back in the day. When we had AT&T, it was different.
Well, there's some kind of a differential between cell phones and landline phones, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. The cell
Right.
phones come
All
from,
right, so we've just established that Mary and her 3 field people get 4 cell phones.
right, and
So
it's
how many
about
cell
100.
phones will go to the township?
What?
How many
There's
cell
two,
phones?
there's 2 in the township, but that's not in Mary's budget.
Right. So 2 cell phones to the township,
Yeah,
4 to the assessor,
right?
and how many to the road?
I have no idea, I don't do their phones.
But it's split up between the road
No,
district.
no, 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 no,
Not the cell phone.
not the cell phones, just the landline.
Just
The
the
phone
landline.
system we have
Okay.
here in the building.
So do the assessor's office have the same number of phones as the township?
It'd be pretty cool.
And desk phones, you mean?
Landline phones?
I don't know, I don't know. You have what, 6, 7,
But it's all
8?
based on usage anyway. So, the road district is completely separate, and you don't cut it off a third, a third, a third. You meant, when you said a third, a third, a third, you meant the parks. And-
No.
Okay, well, don't these buses have a phone service to them?
No, you're confusing. The cell phones are billed separately to each department. The landline is for this building, and that is broken down third, a third, and a third.
Okay, well, then it should be broken down in the budget,
It is broken down in the budget.
not for individual department.
Yes, it is.
Right, she's got 4 cell phones.
The cell phones are totally separate.
Then it should be a separate line item. Under telephone should be split up so you can have a grasp of what
So
we're talking about.
it's she spends about $100 a month on average for cell phones. I can break that down. If you want a separate line item for the regular landline and one for the cell phone, I can add that in.
Okay, so how is it split up, how are the landlines split up between departments?
You want me to,
No, just a ballpark
it's just,
explanation.
A third.
It's a third.
We all pay a third.
Right, now where does the bus service come under that? Under the township?
that's under the township, well, and it's actually under the Parks Department, or under senior bus.
Well, which is it?
It's under senior bus.
Which we took out.
That's where all the buses are. So they have a line item that says cell phones. That's their telephone.
So there's 4 of those.
I don't know how many phones there are. I'd have to look. I don't have that with me. I can look. I think there's 5 or 6.
And how many with the regular park district?
The Parks has 4, I think. I can look. Hold on. I have the worksheet here.
But there's only 3 people, right, and they're under park?
There's 4.
But-
No, you're right. There's 3.
There's only 3.
There's 3, so there's probably only 3. Let me pull up the worksheet because I'm going from my head.
I'm just trying to parse out
No,
where the phones for the buses come
hold
under.
on. Phones for the buses went under Senior Express.
They were under the bus budget. They're no
All right, so
longer there.
the assessor's office has 5 phones. The Parks has 3 phones, which they actually no longer have.
Well, whoa. So what does that mean?
They're no longer using township cell phones.
So what are they using?
They're using their own phones.
And we're giving them some kind of a
We
reimbursement?
do the cell phone reimbursement, which you guys wanted done last year. Same with the uniform. The buses were all taken out of senior bus, and there was 5 phones. And administration has 2 phones. So there's only 2 phones in the town. The assessor's bill is about $100 a month. The administration bill is about $123 a month. And the senior bus was about $200 a month. But the senior bus is now eliminated, or will be. And that breakdown sheet is on the Verizon bill that you look at every month. I include it with the bill. Just so you know.
I know, and I know you do a good job.
No, I'm just
coping
saying
with
it's
all
on
this.
there if you wanna see the breakdown.
Well,
It's the same thing on the telephone. There's a breakdown sheet with that bill also. How
okay.
it's attached.
Travel mileage, is that figure going to go up appreciably the next 6 weeks?
Yes.
And
Sorry.
could you just give us an explanation of that and how much it's going to go up?
It's gonna go up because of staff attending classes, required classes. I don't have an exact figure, but it would be travel and expenses for those classes.
Required by who?
Reported by who?
Required by who?
Our continuing ed is required.
By,
Myself and the
by what
deputies.
entity? The state, what?
Department of Revenue.
And how many people is that going to involve?
3.
So a ballpark figure of how much it's going to be per one, or are they all the same, or are you more, or what?
It's all based on the mileage rates and the expenses, the
Yeah, that per
daily
diem that you guys put into
fees and the
place.
hotels, that if there are hotels.
Well, the mileage is a constant figure. What I'm trying to get at is what these, in other words, the training is not included in this?
That's
Training
that's
and
under
travel.
training.
Which is broken out further
Okay,
down.
but really the
training
travel and mileage is sort of an auxiliary of the training, right?
No,
Yes.
it was broken down because you wanted for separate line items to
Yeah,
show the
right.
training for the actual class cost, and then the training and mileage, or
The
expenses.
travel and mileage
So these
for
are
the
all,
per diem.
the anticipated training that's going to go on to the end of this fiscal year, is that going to be off-site,
Correct,
all of it?
correct.
Okay. So, you're going somewhere in Illinois, right?
Yes.
So what do you anticipate the 2019-20 actual travel and mileage to be? Like $600?
No, it'll be
a
another,
lot more, cause you got hotel.
well, again, under
No.
under actual classes, it'll be another, probably another $1,400.
Okay, the hotel would go under training or travel?
It would go
Travel
under
and
travel and mileage.
Okay. So, what do you anticipate the 2019-2020 actual to be? Approximate.
Yeah, you're probably looking at another, 1,500, 2,000, it just depends, I mean,
I don't know how many days are in
I
the
know,
hotel or anything. I don't know.
I'd say another 1,500,
I would say at least,
at least.
because you got 3 of them and is it 3-day or 5-day?
Most of them are 3,
I want to say 3, okay.
others,
So you have,
And this is an annualized CLE?
I'm sorry,
This is an annualized amount of training they have to do every year?
correct,
Okay, and that involves the field people?
no, deputy assessors and myself, 3 people.
Okay. So then, why was it so much in 2018-19? Was it,
didn't you have new people come on that had to have additional training?
I'm sorry?
Didn't you have new people that had to have
I
additional
did,
training?
right, to get, so for deputy assessor to be a certified Illinois assessing officer, there were additional classes required, and that's where that came last year.
all right, then I propose that the travel mileage be cut to 3,000 flat.
Motion, Steve?
A motion for that.
Wait, what are you cutting down? What,
We're just saving $500 off the travel and
you're
mileage.
taking 500 off?
Yeah,
And your number is what?
3,000.
That's a motion?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
I'll second it.
Mr. Anderson, roll call vote.
Is there more discussion?
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. Any more discussion?
I know it's difficult, but there could be. I have none. Any more discussion? Call the vote.
Okay, let's call the vote.
Yes.
Rakestraw? Yes. Adams, yes. Wojciechowski?
Yes.
Veer?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, postage, we've instituted a franking system now, right? That meters everything? We don't have the,
Correct.
Right, and I don't know what that, we haven't gotten another,
That usually will come
Oh.
out at the end of the year.
What's that, 3,000? You took 500 off. 3,000. You took 500.
right, well, that'll be it's a 10% saving just in postage itself by being metered.
Yeah, but it's, Steve, if you look back,
Yeah.
in 2018-19, that was all metered there, was it not?
There's-
I thought it came in the middle of the year. It came on since I've been on the board.
What?
The
No,
metering.
we've
The
had
meter's
no,
been
the
here
meter's
for
been here
years.
for years.
Well, the meter for the assessor wasn't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
it
always
was.
here.
there was a combination of that for all, because I didn't,
Mary,
we were using the post, we didn't,
it's a
there
long
was
story.
a misunderstanding on how that was going, so I was getting charged for some of the things we used through the meter, and then we were buying some stamps.
Stamps at the same time,
So
right?
we stopped buying stamps, and we're using the meter, but I don't know that, this 400 doesn't, I mean, that can't be all of it.
No, it's
No,
not all of
because-
it, yeah, because
No.
it's, those are
And you
journals
also
that have to be
bought
done.
$500 in stamps last year, that I'm sure you've
Correct.
gone through
That's
probably,
correct.
right? So there's 900 right there
That we have used,
that you have used.
This
So-
year.
yep.
Right, so it really, you gotta
So you're-
factor in those
it's-
stamps.
We might be
That
more
down.
than 1,000.
And the postage is going up.
Maybe we should raise that.
Well, I realize using up the stamps is going to, what were purchased in prior years is going to cause a disparity in what the actuals really are, what you're running through, okay? It is set at 50 cents a letter, right? One ounce or less letter?
What
I
is it,
think-
50 or 55?
Standard, you're basically
whole-
No, no,
50
no,
cents.
I don't know what it is.
It's
I-
50
I can-
cents.
Let me, I
I
think it's,
don't know.
It
I will
is.
I
find,
didn't-
let me find out, I'm
It's
not
either
sure.
50 or
But
55,
it's,
I don't
it's
know.
going up again in February.
Yes, it is going up, I do know that. We've been
Last year, this-
notified.
Because it was going up to 55. We bought stamps because I didn't know the meter was gonna be 50. I thought I
Gotcha.
was saving money. And found out
I have no
we're at 50
idea, I
cents.
have forever stamps still, so.
So it's still 50 at the moment, as far as I know.
Well, and it's gonna increase, we just got a notice from them for a February increase.
Yeah, but I think there's gonna be an even greater differential between, they don't want people to use stamps, okay? So
Right,
they're actually making it cheaper, so that everything is metered.
right.
So an entity like the township definitely should be using the meter.
We are.
We are using.
No, right, and
We
I'm
do.
saying that's an innovation that's,
Right.
And I did
that
find
saves
out,
everybody money.
you wanna know, it's 50 cents right now, but it's gonna go up.
Yeah, we just got notice that it's going up.
Okay. So now we've exhausted all the regular stamps, right?
Yep.
So, nothing was spent on printing and publishing, or will there be in the next 6 weeks?
There could be, yes, we have to, we use a lot of, I feel people use cards when they're, updating properties. And generally, I don't have a number for you right now, I don't have it in front of me, but we might be having to replenish those.
So I take it this has to be done with an outside printer, right?
Have to be done what?
Correct.
With an outside printer?
Correct.
Okay, publications, $100. But apparently, no publication has been bought in a while. So are you anticipating something?
Actually, we don't have, I don't know where the Herald.
I'm sorry, what?
Is the Herald under subscriptions or under,
I can look and see.
How many Herald subscriptions are we getting in the township?
just one?
One,
In our office.
So, then it's in the township bill somewhere, not the assessor, right?
No,
no,
it's the assessor.
it's the assessor gets it to look at sales and stuff, so.
Well, those could be all gotten online.
You can't get online access unless you pay for a subscription.
It's called Zillow.
Well, it's a different, Steve,
They use it for legal,
they use it with legal things too.
printing and publishing, the only thing you have is the Minuteman, the outside printing, so.
Okay, so that's publishing, the $300, so what's publication? I know it's only $100, but what is it? I just wanna know.
That's if
I
he
only
has
ask because there isn't any actual expenditures for it, going back a while.
I think we
I can
separated
look-
it out because it was part of,
See, go back.
I wanna say it
There
was
some.
something that you guys wanted broken down.
it was with dues and subscription, or no,
I
it was
think
dues
so.
and something else before.
Well, subscriptions are an entirely different line item.
Right, we split it out now.
My reading of this would mean you need some kind of book, or you need some kind of a one-time purchase gradation or something.
Yeah, well,
Is that where you get the Marshall and Swift from?
that's in the, subscriptions, that's what
Okay.
Marshall and Swift is, all in them.
I know why it's there. If she has to advertise for a position, she need money for publication.
I
There you
would
go.
say for anything
Yep,
for
that's
Shaw
true.
Anything for the Shaw,
or Northwest Herald.
right.
But I'm looking back and I don't see anything prior year either. So it must have been one we split
It is.
from another line item.
Well, what are notices ordinarily put out by the assessor? They'd have to be published in a newspaper.
Help wanted. I mean,
Steve, that would probably pay for one help wanted ad if we needed it.
Not even now.
No, probably not
They
even.
raised their rates now.
Probably not even.
Well, then the line item should be changed to employment, employment
They could put a,
notice or something.
how about we just take it out?
She said just
There you
take it
go.
out.
Okay,
Just get rid of it.
great. Now,
I'll help you there. Just take it out.
This is suggested from the assessor, is that a motion, Steve?
yes,
I'll second it.
okay, first and second, any further discussion? None being heard, let's have a vote. Mr. Bear,
yep,
Mr. Wojciechowski,
Yes.
Mr. Adams, yes. Mr. Rickstrup.
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
With that kind of a recommendation, yes.
okay.
all right, now this one's gonna be a trouble one. So, I'm glad to see that the proposal is $100. So was this one of those things that was split
Yes.
before?
Yes,
Oh,
that
okay.
you saw be combined.
All right, so, for $100, so what is it? What is the dues for?
Professional organizations, as in Mchenry Association of Assessors and other organizations.
up.
And what's the other one? Mchenry Association of Assessors, okay. And there's another one?
There are others, but you actually told me I shouldn't be spending that money, so that's why there's only $100 in there.
No, it was put into the subscription file, okay?
No?
What I'm saying is, what are the actual organizations we're paying dues for from the assessor's office? They come out to a proposed budget of $100.
Would be the Mchenry County Association and the Township Assessors Association, Illinois Township Assessors.
How much is the Mchenry Township Association of Assessors cost?
40.
And how much is
Illinois.
the McHenry? So,
There's a state association and a county association. It's about $80 total.
and why do we need to be involved with that?
Professional organizations to share information and ideas.
That isn't something individuals go on their own. Pay dues
Professional
for?
organizations.
Who does the dues apply to? You or the township assessor's office?
I'm sorry?
Who's actually getting credit for the dues? You personally? So
Correct.
you're a member of this association?
Correct, just me.
Okay.
But I redirect that information and share it with the deputy assessors.
So if it's $80, why did we go for $100?
You said 80 plus the 40. That was 120.
No, I said it's about 80, but again, I don't know, they can be
We're gonna argue over
raised.
$20.
They can raise them.
They could raise them this year to 50.
Well, are you gonna make a case that they're necessary?
Yes,
Okay, why?
professional organizations where we share information and we learn about laws and techniques, and it's important to share that information and network. It's important. Most professionals are in organizations that share information, and that is important. And for $100, I think it's well worth it.
Well, then it can come out of the miscellaneous then, as far as I'm concerned. So I'd vote to cut
We
it.
don't wanna,
No,
we
no,
don't
no.
wanna mix up the
We don't wanna mix up
miscellaneous.
the line items here. That's, we put in more line items so we
You
can see
wanna
where
know
it's
where
coming
money's
from.
going, that's
We
what
need
the
to be
dues
more
would be,
transparent.
where are you going?
That makes us more transparent, doesn't, we don't wanna miss.
Then I wanna see what you get for this. You get a newsletter from these two organizations?
I've told you what I get from it. It's networking and shared information on what goes on throughout the
Okay.
state and other profession,
So
other
is the shared,
assessment offices.
is the shared information in written form?
No,
That's just oral stuff?
we talk about all kinds of things, laws that pertain to assessments, what kind of activities are going on in our neighborhoods, the software programs that we use, the programs and processes that are used in our offices. It is not unusual for any professional to belong to an organization that shares information and ideas.
Yeah, well,
I think that one's been explained, let's move on.
then we're cutting it to what it really is, 80. Motion to reduce it by $20 to $80.
Long as it's on the table, I'll second it.
Well, I don't understand. If we know what the bill is, if it's raised, fine, then come back. I don't even understand what it
Every time
is.
it
Do they
comes, we
meet,
have to
do these organizations meet at certain times? You have to go?
Uh-huh.
When? When's the next one?
You know what, I'd have to check my calendar, but if we meet at different times and different places during.
How many
the-
times have you met with the township?
Monthly,
Where was the last meeting at?
in Woodstock,
Where?
the public house.
Is the public invited?
Pardon me?
Is the public invited to come to these meetings and listen?
I don't know, they can come if they want, I don't think that we publish them.
I think there's not a non-member.
So it met at the public house. I assume you got a lunch at the meeting, so where would that lunch go?
To my personal account.
Okay, then you can join this thing on your own personally then.
That's
So I
really-
move
that's
to
really
take
kind
it
of
out
easy.
entirely.
You-
The whole line item removed. I withdraw the $80 one, which it should have been, because that's the actual cost. Now I withdraw that, and I say it should entirely be cut.
I withdraw my second.
I don't know why you guys don't believe in personal and professional organizations that for $100. And I don't submit bills for and for the mileage or the expenses that it costs me personally to go to these, and it benefits the township.
Well, then it obviously isn't a legitimate meeting, if you're not submitting the mileage.
You don't think they're legitimate anyway. If I submitted it, you wouldn't pay it.
Yeah, well, we wouldn't know any of this
You
until.
did, you talked
until
about
we
it
had-
last year. We went through this all last year. Nothing has changed.
Actually, we didn't.
Yes, we
Okay.
did.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we
Yes,
did.
we
You asked me
did.
about every one of these items, and I explained every one of them last year.
Now I'm asking about what they actually do, okay?
What
And
we
where
actually-
they meet and how often and everything else. So, the motion stands to eliminate it. Eliminate it.
I'll second that motion.
I think you already did.
No, that was it.
Okay, we have a first and second to the
These
motion.
governmental organizations are monsters
He did another motion.
that figure out new ways to,
We have a first and second to the motion, let's take a vote. Mr.
No,
Hammond?
we have to have a discussion on it.
Oh, you're right.
More discussion. You have anything else?
Personally, I understand exactly where Steve's coming from, because there's a lot of networking ideas been at these meetings that probably aren't in the best interest of the people who are paying the taxes. But on the other hand, I think $80 is there's nothing wrong with that, so I'm not sure that I would support that.
In terms of discussion, I wouldn't support it either. $80 is for a professional association is not a big deal. And it does give her assessment information that helps her. Stan, how do you feel about that?
I say leave it in.
We've never been presented anything what the state association does. Okay?
Okay, Steve, we have a first and a second. Do we want to take a roll call vote on that? Okay, let's take a roll call vote on it. This will be to eliminate the line item. Mr. Anderson?
Yes to eliminate?
Mr. Rakestraw?
No.
Mr. Adams, no.
No.
Mr. Beer, I'm sure you're a yes, so.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, so it stays in.
Then I have a motion to take it down to what it is, 80.
Second?
We have a first and a second. Any more discussion? Let's have a roll call. Now the vote is to take it down to 80 from 100. Mr. Anderson?
Yes?
Mr. Rakestraw?
Yes.
Mr. Adams, no.
No.
Mr. Rich?
Yes?
Okay, fine. That was dues, it'd be $80.
Subscriptions to what?
Marshall and Swift, again, same as last year.
Well, then it should say subscription, if it's just a single entity.
Well, gosh knows, it might change someday, I don't know, we might have another subscription. I think that actually isn't where the,
Well, where does the Herald come in?
that's probably in there too, in the subscriptions.
Probably.
Debbie will do it.
Yes, it is. Both of them are in there, Marshall and Northwest Herald.
And how much is the Marshall subscription?
It's like 12.
1,028, and the Northwest Herald is at 131.
Well, that's, that comes out to 1,150 approximately,
Well,
correct?
the 2020 will be coming in for the Northwest Herald shortly, so you'll probably get that,
So that's paid for the year or what?
yes.
And we paid the Marshall and Swift.
Marshall and Swift has been paid for 2020.
So then the subscriptions can be cut to 1,300. Right?
I think it needs more, I think the Herald's about $200 a year now.
She just said 131,
Oh, okay.
and it hasn't been paid, so the actual will go up by 131. We can, so a motion to cut it to $1,300.
Second?
Motion.
Some discussion here.
Any discussion?
I think you need to wait for the clerk to come back.
For you?
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
It's being cut to 1,300, I guess. Motion. Cut it to 13.
Subscription.
Yep.
Thank you.
we haven't voted. We haven't voted.
Oh.
Well, to save time, can we go into what the
Sure.
training is?
Let's keep going. We'll come back to the motion.
So are we expecting the training bill to go up appreciably in the next 6 weeks?
Yeah, that should go up about 1,500 as well.
Okay.
It might, yeah, depending upon how many days.
Well, these are accreditation meetings, right, in Springfield or someplace?
Yeah.
Rockford?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you when your hand's in front of your mouth.
These are accreditation meetings within the state somewhere?
Correct.
Where?
Anywhere, could be Rockford, could be Peoria, could be Bloomington,
Okay, well,
could be Springfield.
If you're going in the next 6 weeks, I'd expect you'd know where they are.
Peoria, Bloomington, Springfield, Rockford.
Okay, and when is it? We're adding approximately, what, $1,600 to the $720 in actual?
For the classes, yes.
Okay. And what else would be part of that increase?
Nothing, those are just for the class expenses.
All right, so are we ready for the,
Yeah, let's go back to the subscriptions. It was first and seconded to make that $1,300. There's no further discussion.
Just for the record, Mr. Bear made the motion.
Motion.
And Mr. Anderson.
I figured there would be. Motion for what?
Reduce the subscription from 1,500 to 1,300. And I second it. Okay, good.
Okay, we're gonna have a roll call vote. Mr. Adams, yes. Mr. Rakestraw?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski?
Yes,
Mr. Bear?
yes?
Okay, we were at training, Steve, is that correct?
All right, so we're probably gonna have $2,500 in the training part for actual, correct?
I'm sorry?
The anticipated final amount for the fiscal year that we're now in actual, is somewhere around $2,500.
Correct.
We're looking at the next year, hotel, aren't they in there? No,
That goes under
that's
travel.
under travel, I'm sorry, okay. Training costs could go up too in the next year.
And how long are these CLEs? Is this an annualized?
The classes are annual, yeah.
And they're always in March?
They could be at different times of the year, but we have to,
Well, I'm trying to get a handle on how much is really gonna be spent this year. So are these people signed up for anything until the end of this fiscal year for training? Otherwise, these figures don't mean anything. They'll be carried over to the next year. I'm trying to get a handle on the annualized amount for training every year. So, my question is, you have a year to complete this training, right? It has to be done within what?
you need to sign up for the classes now because they.
Okay, were they done, were the
And that's
classes
where-
signed up for?
Generally, the cost for the classes comes now, before, in the first 3 months of the year. You pay for the classes. The training, the travel and mileage parts are different time of the year because, We're spread out a little bit differently depending on when the classes are. Classes can be held at different times, but we have to pay for them to reserve our spots.
Mary, so for purposes of clarification, are you saying that you're paying out of the budget currently you're in for next year's
For this year.
classes?
Correct, correct.
Who puts on these training sessions?
Illinois Property Assessment Institute.
So everybody from your office goes to one entity for the training?
3 people, myself and my 2 deputies go to training.
Okay, and you all go at the same time?
No. There's different classes, different topics, different things. I've been, there's, no.
So you could have one member go into one class and 2 members go into a completely different
Correct.
class.
Okay, so is everybody signed up to go to a training before our fiscal year ends now?
There's,
I think so.
I don't think I get mine and Eric's, I don't think are in yet.
Okay, so there's more to come in.
Yeah, there's more coming in.
Right, so then for,
But there are some already signed up.
That's with the 720, that's the
Okay.
one that's in.
Yeah. Because I know they always seem to come in at the end of the year.
yeah, so we're paying, so we're not expected to have to pay out more money this,
Yes, we are.
She's got 2 more that haven't been put in yet.
but when are they going to be put in?
Before I end the
Sometime in the next month.
But they
Sometime in
want
the
it-
next month? That's 2. 2 more people.
Correct.
They might be signed up, but not necessarily in this fiscal year to be.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. So then you, then you never get to the bottom of how much is spent every year.
No,
Because it's
every-
all
no,
mixed
no, no.
up.
No.
As Mr. Militello explained, the classes might be, we have to sign up for them now and pay for them. It generally comes out of the current budget.
Okay.
For the classes for next year. There's one that's in right now.
Right.
One that the other 2 I just haven't put in yet.
Right.
And the same thing happens the following year, you pay for them, and so it is a valid number.
And these can't be taken online.
No,
So what is it actually called, the one you have to do?
continuing ed training to maintain our certification as a certified Illinois assessing officer.
Yeah, I know that. But what is the actual course called?
There's different courses.
Right, so now I'm trying to get to the bottom of what they are.
I don't have that in front of me.
Are they all the same?
No,
The same price?
they're all basically the same price.
Okay, so then, since you've already paid 1 for this year, and you're expecting to pay 2 more for this year, right?
Yes.
Then it would be $21.60 would be the amount of the actual. So, if that's the case, the next year's proposed budget should be reduced by at least $500, if not $600 or $700.
It's gonna be over 15.
It's gonna be over.
1480.
How can it be over
It'd be
that?
1,500.
If it's $720 for the one that's paid and the other 2 are about the same cost,
I just said 1480, or 1440, sorry. I did say 1480.
yeah, so it's about $21.60.
Total for all
For
3.
total, for all of them.
Okay. So it's budgeted for 3,000, yet it was only 2160 is going to be spent, or approximately that. So then, for the next year, it should go down to 2,500.
that a
which
motion?
would take care of the increase in costs of the new CLEs.
Is that a motion, Steve?
Yes.
We have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Could you restate your motion, Steve?
Please.
His motion
Steve,
was
can you
to
restate
decrease it
your
from
motion?
3,000 to 2,500.
Because we know that it's only going to be 2160 in the actual for this current year. And that gives a cushion for an increase in the cost.
Expense was 2160. We want to bring that down. From 3,000.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call vote. Mr. Anderson?
Yes?
Mr. Rakestraw?
Yes.
Mr. Adams, no. Mr. Wojciechowski?
You're reducing it by $500, is
Mhm.
Right,
is that the
right.
motion? Okay, I'll say no. No.
Mr. Bear?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a question on the licensing fees. We were discussing that quite a while ago. I didn't want to interrupt what was going on, and then I slept my mind. When we pay that charge, is it a one-time payment? Do we write one
It's an
check?
annual payment for the licenses and software that we use all year long.
Yeah. So is it common to pay the whole bill at one time, or is there a provision perhaps where we could pay a third every 4 months?
They bill us once a year. It's an annual bill.
Okay, we're down to fuel, which hasn't been put in there yet for this year, is that correct?
What?
I'm looking at fuel, there's nothing in
No,
there.
not yet.
That will be put in there when we get the numbers in the next month or so.
Yeah, they'll get done in the next month. Next meeting.
Okay, next page.
Well, then we have to see what those are. Okay.
I won't have those till the end of the year.
Yeah, it's approximately,
What is it, you just pay
We
out a
already
flat
figured,
amount?
we based it off of last year's usage. When we went through all that and we split it out, you guys asked for
you
it
asked
all
us
to
to
be.
split it out.
All right, so on what line item was it in the past?
It was all in one line item in the town fund.
And we split it out.
And we split it by every department like you asked last year.
Right. To get to the bottom of the missing fuel.
Right.
Right.
So we based it on the actual usage from last year.
Okay, so up to now, the assessor's office hasn't paid?
Nothing. We don't do that till the end of the year.
We just accumulate it all at the end of the year. She keeps track of it, so.
There'll be a report with everything broken down like last year.
It's probably gonna run $1,200.
That's how we budget it.
Well, what was it? Oh, we don't know, right, okay, sorry.
All right, let's move on. Office supplies, under commodities.
Is this where paper comes in and all that?
Yep.
So ink for the computers comes in here, not under the computers, right?
What for the computers?
Ink for the printers, you mean?
It's in our maintenance agreement.
That's computer maintenance.
That's computer maintenance.
Or, okay, equipment maintenance. That's under. the-
Equipment maintenance, right. Maintenance equipment.
let's move on. Clothing. Mary, you can explain that. I don't know if there's anything to explain there. Clothing is for your field staff so that they're identified.
Correct.
You wouldn't want somebody coming to your house without identification.
So the person that was relieved in your office last November was a field staff employee?
Correct.
So we have 2 field people.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And we've spent $500 on shirts, which is really all it is, right?
No, jackets, hats.
Hats. Okay. So you have less people, but the bill is bigger. Can you explain that?
It wasn't less people until November. We ordered most of that when I had more staff.
Yeah, okay, so you got 2 people to put shirts, hats, and everything on, spent $512 last year, and now you want $750. So my question is, how much does it cost to equip one person?
Actually, the 512 is probably for 2 people. Because the one we didn't have to do,
Wouldn't that also include your office staff?
No, no.
So what do they need now for this upcoming year? Every year you give them, it's all new or what? I just want to know why it is that you're asking for $750.
Well, we have, it's mostly for, their exterior jackets and things like that are probably okay. It's just, sometimes they're, they have to wear, shirts every day, and those don't last forever. They're just, but the 512 were then basically for 2 people. 2, like 3 or 4 shirts, 2 jackets.
Okay, so the replacement of these things is what? Now, how many jackets do they need?
Different jackets for different times of the year. There's sweatshirts, there's windbreakers, and then there's heavier winter jackets.
All right, so what is the cost of one complete set of uniform for each person? Approximately.
Don't have it in front of me. I don't have it in front of me.
Well, so does that mean you have an inventory in your office of shirts, so when you just give them out, what?
I give them enough shirts so that they can wear them every day. And again, sometimes they have to be, we have to get new ones. Sometimes there's,
Do you have your field people, are they out in the field every day, the working day of the year? Or is it predominantly
they're out
spring,
weather
fall?
permitting. If it's pouring rain, they're not generally out there. If it's a blizzard, they're not out there. But
I mean, if we got 10 inches of snow, would they be out in the field yet, or would we keep them in the yard?
generally not. If there's 10 inches of snow on the ground, it's kind of dangerous to be walking around the property, so not generally. But there's lots of days when it's really cold and there's no snow. And you need
Yeah, well, that's what I'm trying to get at is every piece of clothing that you're giving these employees, are they really necessary?
Yes. If you were going to if you were going on people's property, I want to make sure that they're well identified.
Well,
And they're required to
I
wear
agree
it.
completely
So
with that.
that's
I have no problem with that.
It's
I'm
all
just-
required. And we live in a state where weather changes, you might just need a shirt, you might need a sweatshirt, you might need a windbreaker, you might need all three of those, you might need the winter jacket, so there's that.
Well, I think the number should be cut.
It should be cut to half. Since we're talking about less people now to begin with.
And I think we should put that in a motion to,
Motion for 375.
and then I think I'll second that motion.
I thought you just made it.
No, I just said I thank you, but Steve just made the motion. I said I thought we should cut it, I didn't put it.
Any other discussion?
But Steve put the number in, and I seconded it.
Okay, let's take a vote. Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Rakestraw?
Yes.
Mr. Adams? No. Mr. Wojciechowski?
No,
Mr. Bear?
Yes?
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I think we should probably end this meeting because we have another meeting starting at 11.
Right.
And,
Well, let's finish the
we're
last.
gonna try and finish this off
Let's
then?
finish the assessor.
Okay.
We're almost done.
okay, we'll get close, okay.
And if it, we'll just recess it, or just end this meeting and go to the next one. Okay, we're at total commodities.
Well, we're done with that.
Oh, I'm sorry, we're done with that. That's the total. I'm sorry, getting blurry out here. Miscellaneous.
Again, any big ticket items coming in the next 6 weeks that will affect that?
I don't know, that's why it's under miscellaneous, I don't know.
I'm looking, pulling it up right now. This year, just your, like, monthly expenses, Northwest, for Northwest occupational is in your miscellaneous.
What's that?
That's, drug testing,
Okay.
and then
So
just
the
your,
assessor's office, you test for drugs? Has there been any change in that with the change in the law? With cannabis?
No,
Is cannabis tested for?
I think so.
I don't think they have a test for, do they? I don't think,
it's detected,
if it, oh, it could be detected.
can be detected. I don't know that you'll have any, just your normal stuff that's in there.
Well, things
Your
come up.
monthly expenses, whatever.
Different things come up.
But it's different, if you look at the year before, it was 22.90.
I can look at what's year before. Because that might show what might come in
Last
this
year,
year.
the one that should be given the prime importance to.
What I'm trying to explain, Steve, it varies from year
Mary
to year.
Bankers.
Yeah, okay.
What?
Bankers.
Oh, bankers.
Oh, different, we had some different fees for,
Excuse me.
expos
Sure.
and things like that.
Bankers is,
That's materials for the expos.
Were there two booths again at the Mchenry Expo this year?
There was not, there was none.
I believe we cut the budget so much that miscellaneous should stay the same to have the extra bucks there to take care of these
No,
expenses.
the reason why the budget was cut is because it wasn't justified in the first place, okay? So
But
this doesn't give them license to throw in
Well,
under
if-
miscellaneous.
If the budget's
things that
paper
were cut.
thin, then they need someplace to make up the difference.
Yeah, that's how we get into all kinds of problems.
It's not a lot of, if you look at the previous years, they spent more on miscellaneous, so this is actually less. I have no problem with it.
I'm glad it is less.
Well, then.
And I have no
let's
problem
move
with
on.
it either, it's less than the previous years, and in the couple previous years prior to that, we spent more. Okay, so you need to have a little bit in there, it doesn't get spent if we don't need it, okay?
Yeah, but once again, it gets caught up into this crazy system we have of the levies being asked for first, based on
the old year's budget. So it's a trap where you're always going to be getting more money than what was actually spent. So I say the miscellaneous should be cut to $800.
I disagree with that. I believe
It's not a slush fund for everything that.
It's not a
you
slush
can't-
fund, Steve. That's what you're considering it to be. It doesn't get spent if we don't need to use it.
Yeah, okay, then we
Okay?
don't need it.
No, yes, we do, because otherwise we're gonna have to come back.
No,
and-
because otherwise you're gonna have to come back to the board and justify it, right? And that's exactly where we come in
You
and say,
have to
is it legit or not?
You have to amend the budget again. We have to go through this whole process, so
Good,
just let
then
you
we
know.
will.
And then if you come back to the board, that's a special meeting, is gonna cost more than the $1,500.
Yep.
You know what? I have a motion to cut it to $800.
Steve has a motion, $800. Is there a second?
I'm gonna second it.
We have a first and second, cut it to $800. Roll call vote, Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Don't we have to discuss?
Oh, any
Further discussion.
Any further discussion?
And what were the figures, Steve?
It's 1,500.
1,500, and you're proposing to 800?
Right.
Correct.
This is just for the assessor's office. And as of today, they only spent $387.
I'm gonna go back to my comment I said before. This is what you do by cutting, somebody thinks it's fat in the budget. And it comes up to that situation. I think there's something here that can be cut.
Okay, we have first and second. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, Mr. Berry.
Yes?
Mr. Wachowski.
No,
Mr. Adams, no. Mr. Rakestraw.
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes,
Okay, cut to 800. Okay, we're almost done here, guys. Let's get through the last two. Only one more line. And that's pretty right on there, guys, if you look at it.
But what is it? We say capital outlay, but what is the capital outlay?
It's the second half of the payment for the new printer and then 2 scanners for the office.
Which is shared by the town fund?
No,
No.
it's her fault.
Actually, is that is the scanners in there yet? Because we had.
They're not in there yet, I don't believe, are they?
We had computers, didn't we have a?
Oh, I can look.
We
I'm
had 2
sorry.
others.
I knew it was the second half payment of
That was the-
copier,
yeah, that
the
was-
printer thing that they.
So is that this year or next year, the second half of the printers?
We, in the 4,800 would be the second half of the printer payment.
All right, so we're done with printers going for this next budget.
Well, you
For
don't
the
know.
moment.
You don't know.
And then
All right.
the,
So what did you want to know?
the laptop that we had to replace,
Yeah, that's in there.
that's in there, and then the scanners are there too.
The scans and is the scanner $7.99?
Are they what?
Is it
Yeah,
seven?
yes.
Okay, then yes. They're all in there.
All right, so the 4,800 includes the second half of the printer,
The copier, yes.
copier. So we're finished with the copier going forward.
Yeah, both payments have been made now, if that's what you're asking, yes.
Okay, so now what, this $5,000 that's requested for the coming fiscal year, what is that anticipated for? It says capital outlay, that's just what I said. What is the coming capital outlay?
In case I have computers break down or other equipment break down, or that's to the equipment needed to have the office
To
run.
keep operating, yes.
Well, it's not a capital outlay, because you're not actually spending money for any particular capital. It's some kind of an emergency fund. Right, Mr. Militello?
It's capital.
So
No, it's
so it's
capital.
completely misrepresented
No,
in
it's
this budget.
capital equipment. It's capital outlay, it's capital
Capital
outlay.
outlay is typically thought of as equipment that's used
It's
that comes up.
equipment.
It can either be used in miscellaneous or it could be used as capital outlay. It's usually some type of personal property piece that's usually it's designed for. And in the budget, in this particular case, you're either knowing what your potential capital outlay is gonna be for the next fiscal year and or anticipating what those things might be. So
All right,
you
so
may
that's
have
what I've
had
asked for. What are the potential things that you know you're going to have to buy? For sure, what are they?
I would say.
Not what
I would
might
say-
need
I
to
would
be
say-
I would say.
Well, this is up to Mary,
That's up
Mary's
to
gotta
Mary.
come up with that answer.
You're right, correct.
I'm not planning on buying anything. I didn't know I was gonna need scanners. I didn't know I was gonna need new laptops. I didn't know I was gonna need those until they went down.
Why did the laptop need to be replaced?
Because it was outdated and it would cost more to fix it than it would be to replace it.
Okay, how many laptops do you have?
One now, because I had two. They were both outdated and we just got one more.
Okay, so that was replaced under the $4,800, okay? My question still remains, what are these items that you know are going to have to be replaced in the coming fiscal year?
The answer is the same. I do not know because I don't know until they go out. I don't know.
I'd update the other laptop.
The what?
Still have to update the
That
other
other
laptop.
laptop needs to be updated, I believe.
The one you didn't update, because you had two. You should update the other one. You didn't have enough in your capital to do both.
So one laptop.
Okay, how much is
That's the only
that?
thing I can
So it's 2,000.
Okay, then that's what it should be, 2,000, not 3,000.
Well, we could use, scanners could go out.
I
and
don't,
those
there's,
are-
I could use about,
Yeah, then you come back to the board with an explanation.
I do know, I need file cabinets, I don't know what they
Doesn't have a
cost.
contingency.
I need, let's see, what else do I need?
It seems like you're coming up with this now at the back end of the 5,000, okay? When you came to us for 5,000, you should have had things already lined up.
She did.
What are they? A laptop? $2,500 for a laptop?
No, I thought you meant last year, sorry.
Right, I'm talking about.
Last year, she had what she needed to replace.
But Steve
Okay.
is talking about what has she got itemized for next year for the 5,000?
Okay, so
That's his question.
I know, I said I thought
Gentlemen,
it,
let's finish this up quick because we have to
yeah.
have another meeting here. So Steve, do you have a proposal?
Yeah, $2,000. $2,000.
I'm just looking at the year before, Steve. It was 2206. Can we make it?
No, this isn't things that come, look, it's a capital expenditure, okay?
Okay.
You gotta know what you're gonna do. Yeah, if everything blows out, okay, then why isn't it $50,000? What I'm saying is there has to be some kind of reason to it,
Okay.
not just a wish list,
So, okay, I hear you, Steve. So do you have a motion, Steve? What is it?
$2,000, that's it.
Okay, Steve has a motion for $2,000 for that line item. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
We have first and second. Any further discussion? Okay, none being heard. Let's do a vote. Mr. Rakestraw? Yes. Mr. Anderson?
Yes?
Mr. Adams, no. Mr. Wachowski?
No,
Mr. Beer?
Yes.
Okay, done. We need to close this meeting, gentlemen. We have to go on to another.
Public comment after this meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. All right, public comment, gentlemen. Whoever wants one.
You know, you go to Mike or just okay?
That's fine.
John Credo, Mchenry Township. A couple of things. You keep wanting to review my minutes, my comments from 2 meetings ago. And from my recollection, all that, you guys had taken, I just asked, they said I could talk from here.
If you're on the mic, it'll be heard
Okay,
on the video.
fine.
Right.
Let's start over then, hold on.
Sorry.
No, I'll try to. Please don't start your time yet. Thank you. John Crino, Mchenry Township. First thing I'd like to comment on is my review of my minutes from the comments I made 2 meetings ago referencing the elimination of the Mchenry Township bus. You're taking the bus program out of the budget, which is in for roughly $116,000. And my only point of bringing up after the meeting was that at the end of the day, just like we did in the past, the electors were able to bring the budget back or replace the monies in the general fund to keep the bus operating. My hopes were to convince you to put it back in the budget. It's obviously not going to happen. I'd rather put it back in the budget, but it's not going to happen. Secondly, you keep nickel and diming this budget. $50 here, $20 there, a couple $1,000 there. As an elector, I should appreciate that, because you're giving me more money to play with, if I can use that word, because it's really not play. It's called to operate with. So we want to operate the township as it should be for our community, not to please 3 people on this board. You cut from $100, you made it $80. So now if Mary needs that money because the budget comes up, and she has to go to this meeting, or she has to do subscriptions, you're going to have to call a special meeting. And tell me it's not going to cost more than $20. For every item you want them to come back to you for, what are you going to have, another special meeting? You have to be real about what we're trying to project here. And it's not our fault as electors that you don't trust the people that we voted in. Thank you.
Jamie Ross.
Not even close.
Rouse.
Jamie Rouse and Dan, Jaime Rouse. I'm gonna stand here because I want to see you guys.
R-O-U-S.
R-O-U-S, yes. Since I feel like I'm the only person here that's from the private sector, I want to talk to you guys about how unprepared you are to talk about the salaries that people that work for the township are. Okay, the cost of living for Social Security was 1.6 increase, 1.6% for people that do nothing but breathe and get older. Okay, the inflation rate for the United States for this year is 2.73%. That's how much the cost of living is going to go up for everybody else. My raise in the private sector is 2.3% for the last couple of years. That means every year I make less money than what I need to survive. Me, personally. The way that it works is that my supervisor gets a bucket of money and says, split it between your people. No matter how good everybody is, no matter how great everybody is, or if they're not good, that's how much money he has to use. So if you want to keep employees and you want people to actually be able to survive and not have to go on general assistance or welfare or food stamps, which I'm sure you guys all want to cut too, you have to look at what you're actually paying people and how the world works. So to arbitrarily just cut it to 0 or cut it to 1 like it's some kind of compromise, it is not. You guys who are on Social Security are going to get more of a raise than the township employees that are working their butts off every day. All right, so please come prepared with information. Do not just arbitrarily cut money if you have no idea what you're actually doing. Thank you.
Next, I have John Sharif. Sharif?
Sorry.
Oh, no?
I'm good.
Okay. Terry Capel.
I wish to speak regarding the upcoming meeting. Terry Capel, Mchenry.
Well, then he shouldn't be here.
No, you
No,
can't.
Terry, that's got nothing to
That's
do
not,
with
no, that's
We'll
not.
have another chance.
it. Not that,
They have to start a new meeting and then we can talk again.
yeah.
Okay. With that, I'm going to ask for motion for adjournment.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Anderson, second by Mr. Richter. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion, meeting's adjourned. Okay, now we have to go on to this special meeting.
You want to have a slight break?
Can we have a
Bio break?
2-minute potty break? Is that okay with everybody? Then we'll move on to this other.
We're not allowed to talk before the meeting's really
Just for 2 minutes, go back. Deb, just turn that off.
Thank you.
Well, there's 3 different ones on there. It's gonna go off in 10 seconds.
Oh.
Just hit stop. Now go to
Oh,
1.
I got it.
Hit stop. There you go.
This is tricky.
Well, you have to, yeah, we'll have to give, instructions on how to use it.
Nothing's easy anymore.
Nothing is.
Used to be
Bob.
just turn a knob and it's all done, right? Oh my gosh. No wonder. Except the clerk. Except the clerk.
You know what, we can say a pledge of allegiance without the clerk. Call this meeting to order at 11:12. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. While we're waiting for the clerk, oh, here it comes. Oh, no? Does anybody have a public comment?
Wait for the clerk.
Oh, well, we might need more than 2 minutes.
Does anybody, we can, if it's all right with everybody, can we move on to public comment right now?
As far as I'm concerned, it's fine.
Fine, any public comment at this meeting?
I missed the pleasure.
Good morning. My name is Terry Gaffel, Mchenry. I'd like to speak on the regards with the township board planning to hire a lawyer, which will cost thousands of dollars to the taxpayers, in order to prevent the residents of this township from getting what they want, which is the bus service and for protecting the township. The three supervisors who keep claiming that they're trying to save money are actually spending money and costing money to the township, to the residents here. And it's been demonstrated quite clearly by the outpouring of interest in this issue, by the numbers of people who have attended meetings on the bus issue, that they clearly want the bus. If you get your way, you will wind up eliminating the bus, and then when you're voted out of office, the township will have to spend more money retraining people, rehiring people. We're also going to have to pay unemployment insurance to the employees that are let go. It seems to me that if you're really concerned about the cost to the taxpayers, wait to see what the taxpayers actually want. We have 2 referendums on the ballot this March, and it seems to me that as public servants, it's your responsibility to do what the people want, not what you think they want or what you want to impose. That's the philosophy of dictators, not of public servants. Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody else?
Jamie Rouse, Mchenry. In regards to what the agenda item is for the special meeting, which by the way costs the taxpayers money, because it's not just like a continuation of our township lawyer being here. He gets an extra charge per meeting that he has to attend. We, the township, are not named in a lawsuit against us in regards to this law. That has nothing to do, that has not come against the township at all. Unless this is to hire a lawyer to help protect the township, which would be in helping with the road district's fight against the constitutionality of that law, I don't think that you guys should be able to just hire a lawyer to serve your self-interests as the township board and not what the electors want. Considering that we have a referendum question on March 17th, vote if you're online, to let you know if the people want to keep the township or not, you should definitely not be voting to hire a lawyer to help you to get rid of the township until you know what the people want. This is explicit abuse of power and waste of money. Yeah. And so someone who's a lawyer should know what the actual legality is of their actions when they do stuff like this today. So I really wish I could see your eyes, Mr. Mayor, because I know what you look like and what you're doing and everything. And I also wanted to make a comment too about when you ask for respect and people acting like adults, you don't get just to come one day to one meeting and act like an adult and have some good questions and some good conversations, and then act like you haven't been a child at every other single meeting that I've ever attended. All right, so obviously I don't want you guys to hire a lawyer for whatever purposes you're thinking of. And also, the fact that you were able to conspire outside of a public meeting to figure this out and have this on an agenda item, I wonder where these secret meetings are going on. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie, I totally agree. We all know where meetings are at, it's a barber shop down the street. We already know all that. I totally agree with what Jamie said. I mean, I appreciate sometimes where you three gentlemen come from, you're trying to save us money, but in the end, you have to realize you're really not. It's like this lawsuit we're talking about here today. Will you drop it if the electors decide to keep the township, or are you gonna go forward with it? Just like you asked me months ago to drop the vote to be on the March ballot to maintain the township or not. That's the only question I had, is if in March we decide to keep the township, we still gonna go forward with wasting our money. Thank you.
Anybody else? Nobody else?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay.
What was asked for about the bus, I still ask for, which is how many people actually need all these special services that they can't get from the county paid PACE program.
What just got
Okay?
this?
Hey, whoa!
Please
No.
don't interrupt.
No ranting, please. The township bus service should have been eliminated years ago when the county established it. Okay? So now the taxpayers are paying for what? 100 people? What's the fraction of that with the number of people that live in this township? Okay? How many of those people can't be served by the PACE bus, which has better hours, better geographic, better days? The county program is for the weekend. The township program does not. Okay? So I'm sick and tired of this bus. People bellyaching about the bus. This was a program that was doomed as soon as the county established the PACE service, which is a superior program in every way. It's a duplicate program around the township, and it deserves to be cut. Simple as that. I've asked Mr. Adams repeatedly, well, how many people actually need it to have someone do a valet service of bringing their groceries in? I've noticed the PACE bus goes right up to the curbs, where people are saying that they can't get it. The PACE does not go up to the curb, but they do. The PACE bus will take you to McDonald's. The PACE bus will take you to wherever you have to go. Okay? So just talk about, we're harming all these people. Who are these people? I've asked for several months in accounting, how many people need to have someone go in. I've asked, are we insured for this? I still haven't seen anything. I haven't even seen any of the policies. I know one thing, that this is somehow incorrect, that we're paying $200 a bus for $5 million of coverage. Okay? Something is really wrong with that, and it was designed to lowball the cost of the bus service illegally. We've been given false information right from the word go. Now, I realize some people didn't like the outcome of the last township election, okay? The same people that probably didn't like the outcome of the presidential election. Well, guess what? That's too bad. I realize most of this is coming from the Democratic Party. The precinct committeemen that are here.
Finish up,
Mr.
Steve.
Capel.
Finish up. All right. Oh, we got one more.
John Sarf, Mchenry. Mr. Veer, since you're so into always saying about we're upset about the election, you need to remember that the bus service was put in by the electors of this township.
It was not.
It was too, and you know it.
It was not.
Keep it down, Barry.
Keep it down.
You can interrupt, but they can't.
I have the floor. I have the floor. So, Mr. Veer, remember, whenever you talk about that, we put it in. We have the right to take it out. All right?
Okay, that's everybody now. Okay. All right, let's move on. We didn't do a roll call, Dan, because you weren't here, so.
All right. Yeah, I know everything.
Everybody, you know everybody's there, so. All right.
Mr. Chairman, I think you should explain how this meeting came about.
This meeting came about from a conversation with some of the trustees that asked for this meeting. Is that correct?
Was that done in secret?
No, it wasn't.
Okay,
Didn't say it was.
so we can dispense with that falsehood right off the bat.
We have pictures.
Okay, let's
You need
move
2
on.
people to call a meeting. What do you guys talk about?
Let's move on. Audience, please quiet.
Did 2 people call a meeting, Mr. Adam?
You have to have 2
Yes, they
people.
did.
Okay.
Okay, discussion on hiring outside counsel to represent the Mchenry Township Board in the legal case of Mchenry and Nunda Township Road Districts regarding the constitutionality of the State of Illinois Public Act 101-0230.
Yes, I think we need to hire sort of a different attorney. One who did not, behind our backs, file a suit that the board was opposed to, that attacked the action of the governor of the state as well as the legislature. The problem is that this has continued to go on after it was dismissed. When is the next hearing on this? On the suit?
March 10th.
What was the date?
March 10th.
March 10th.
Now, I'm still waiting on these briefs from both sides. Has the state attorney general appeared yet in the suit?
Yes.
And that is on behalf of the governor?
Attorney General has filed an appearance on behalf of the governor.
Okay, so we've never been given actually a copy of the amended complaint.
You have not.
So who are the defendants now? The respondents?
The public defendants are, it's of record, with the county.
Jim, can you use them?
The current defendants with the pending action is with the county of Mchenry and the governor in his official capacity as governor. Those are the 2 defendants that are in the case.
So the governor's been personally sued.
No, in his official capacity as governor.
Right, but you've got J.B. Pritzker as a respondent or a defendant?
J.B. Pritzker as governor, in his official capacity as governor, as defendant.
And his claimed wrongdoing was what? Signing this bill?
There's alleged no wrongdoings in the complaint. The complaint just itemizes facts and events, and the only, without looking at the complaint, it would detail what, if anything, the governor did. We're not saying there was wrongdoing, we're just saying that there was an action, whatever that action was, and I believe it would have been signing of the bill.
And despite the fact that this complaint was dismissed, there's been a refiling.
Yes.
Okay. Well, so Mchenry Township is not represented in this suit.
Mchenry Township's not in the suit.
Could I say this, or get into this conversation a little bit here? If it was not for our road commissioner, Jim Condon, and I don't know who started it, but I know that there are 2 road districts involved here, Mchenry Township and Nunda Township. But if they had not gone out and moved forward to turn this bill around, that passed both houses and signed by the governor, we would not be sitting here to this meeting, would we?
That's a good question. I don't know if it would be or wouldn't be. It would, some other township or some other body may have done something different. All I know is there's currently a pending House Bill 4496, which is correcting the current bill that's alive. So I'm not sure where that's at. It just got introduced in February, and basically what it does is that bill removes any reference to McHenry County and applies the statute to all townships.
But my point would be, if it wasn't for these two road commissioners in McHenry County, we would not be sitting at this meeting today.
I can't speak to that. This board may say that they wanted to get involved one way or another.
But he did not say that, though. It's all came back to the road commissioner getting involved in this lawsuit. And he knew, what's interesting is that this road commissioner wants to keep the township, but he got involved in this whole issue here. And now, the whole thing goes back, well, I think it was September 19th, and then there was a court hearing December 24th, and now he's at the March 10th, the 10th. And what gets me is people concerned about these legal fees, but nobody has come up to this mic here from the public and say, well, how much money is this lawsuit costing people? How is it being financed? And I think as this continues, I think somehow, somewhere we should get this out in the public of what these costs are and how it's being paid for. But nobody seems from this audience that wants to keep the township has any interest in that. Their only have an interest is that we might be thinking here today of hiring an attorney to defend the township, which is not being defended in this issue, which the township board surely has had a position that they wanted this question about for the November election, when more people had a chance to get out and vote, where the people that want to keep the township, they went this way and said, let's push this on forward and let's get it on the March primary election. Fewer people will be voting, and we have a better chance of saving the township. Am I correct?
I'm not really sure what the question was.
Well, I don't think I gave a question. I gave a statement. Is my statement correct? At this time, we don't know who's paying for this, correct? We don't know how it's being paid. And nobody in the public seems to be interested. I think, and I read these different stories in the paper, nothing comes out about how it's being financed, who's paying for it, how we're moving forward, what is the cost of tax at the end of it. What I'm hearing here is, again, my part of the statement is, the people sitting out here want to keep the township, they're just concerned about how much it's going to cost, why would we want to get an attorney to defend ourselves, the township board, which is not being defended in this issue.
Does it need to be defended? So waste of money.
Please, don't know talking.
He talked about it.
You can't talk from
Mr.
here.
Chairman, are you gonna
Yes.
preside over this?
Yeah, I just did.
So that's the warning, right?
That's the warning.
Okay.
Okay. Where do we want to go, gentlemen?
Well, wait a minute, I've got all kinds of more questions.
Oh.
Would it be in the interest of Mchenry Township to intervene in this matter? Now, see, you're conflicted out, so we can't get any advice, right? Would that be a fair statement?
I guess the question is do you want, the question is, as a policy decision, if this board wants to get involved into something, then that would be a question that you'd want to ask somebody, and that would be an answer that I probably would not want to give you, because at that point in time, you're putting me in a conflicted position.
No, you put us in a conflicted position by not even telling us in advance that this suit was going to be filed. Okay, after the board specifically said no to challenging the statute. So now the board is bare. It has no legal representation. Okay, our confidence, at least in this matter, is just blown away in our current attorney. We need answers to it. I asked a long time ago for other attorneys, got it a few days ago. The attorneys presented totally unacceptable for a variety of reasons. I think the attorney knows.
And I also in my email said I have a couple extra attorneys that I would be bringing today, and I'll provide those to the board. You can discuss them. I would recommend, if you are moving forward with an attorney, if you're moving forward with this position and going to do something, I would probably recommend that this board talk in executive session regarding what that plan and process would be, and who that particular attorney would be for specific for purposes of hiring. I'd be more than happy to give my list with the additional names on it. Actually, I'll hand it to the supervisor, and we can give it to the trustees as well. But
with that said, again, if there's any discussion and interviewing and questions for those specific terms relative to the lawsuit, I would again encourage the board to go into executive session regarding the matter.
Well, who's the attorney for Nunda Township?
For the township, Nunda, I believe Scott Poon is the township attorney. I believe Joe Gottemoller is the township attorney for Grafton. I'm not sure, and I don't have on my list for you, but is on this particular list is Don Steinspring Jr. I think he's the attorney for Richmond. I may be mistaken on that. I do have another name on this list who's not a township attorney, but who does litigation matters as well.
And how is it that Scott Puma is not representing Nunda Township Road District in the current lawsuit?
Good question. I don't know. I can't speak to that.
Well, so apparently the road district commissioner of Nunda Township approached you to represent him in the action?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Who approached you to represent Nunda Township in this current lawsuit?
I don't know that I can talk about that.
But that's the problem we're faced with. We have all kinds of questions and can't get answers. We don't know how this is being financed. We don't know if there's other entities like TOI that's financing appeals or whatever that was set up in advance. From the point of view of the majority of the board is not being represented in this suit. And I think it's true, isn't it, that the board can intervene in this action on the side of the governor and on the side of the county and on the side of the statute's constitutionality. Is that correct?
It's within the discretion of the board to, if they want to intervene, depending on whatever the particular issue is. I'm not sure that it's a matter of right, but it would be a petition for intervention. That would be correct.
Now, if the suit was dismissed and it never came back, we wouldn't be in this fix. So the problem started with Mchenry and Nunda Road District suing to have the statute held unconstitutional. And at least at one level of the trial court, it was ruled that it was constitutional, correct?
No.
Well, then where's the order for that case? Why wasn't the board given a copy of the judicial order dismissing the first action?
If the board would like a copy of the order, I'd be more than happy to get a copy of the order and circulate it. But that's not the order of the court.
Yeah, but that's the point. You're supposed to be our attorney for the township. And here you're going against what the board wants. So it's like, well, what is it? It's just this big mystery case. I know these things are available at the courthouse, okay? For people to go there and get it, okay? We shouldn't have to find out about it by reading the front page of the paper. Is where I'm coming from on it, okay? So there may be a benefit to the constitutionality of the lawsuit for Mchenry Township to be in favor of keeping the law, and that's what we need the attorney for. This whole thing was started because of the actions of the Road District Commissioner. Now, I realize that this is the peculiar nature of townships in Illinois, that unlike other states that have gotten rid of them completely as governmental taxing bodies, like Iowa, like Oklahoma, like these 17 counties, even in Illinois, that got rid of it. The township exists as a separate taxing body. How this board is even in charge of it is just part of this melange where we go over the budget of an organization we can't control. It doesn't make any sense to me, okay? That this entity, the Township Road District, can go out and hire away the township attorney to do his bidding on a Don Quixote-ish request to have a statute held unconstitutional is just beyond me. It shouldn't be, but once again, it shows the utter quagmire of township government. And I believe that's why Michigan got rid of townships, the township road commissioners, a long time ago. But for some reason, we've been caught in time, like a prehistoric insect in amber, where the whole world has changed since townships were put in. When townships were put in before the Civil War, there wasn't anything for anybody for general relief. You're just on your own, like Mexico today. Because of the buildup of the welfare state, food stamps, welfare, Medicaid, all kinds of aid, the importance of general assistance from the township is really, and I think any honest person looking at it would say, is greatly diminished. So what is the purpose of the townships? I mean, this whole case actually cuts into what townships can do and how people can finally get out from under them. Like they have in so many other states, in these 17 counties in central and downstate Illinois. So I know there's a big lobbying effort on by the TOI to keep things the way they are. I understand the townships are only a small portion of our tax bill, but we're in a crisis, not only in Illinois, but particularly in this township. We're in a county, the 17th highest property tax county in the United States. I mean, something has to be done for the taxpayer. That's what we were elected on the tax revolt platform. So people can whine and bring Democratic precinct committeemen here in droves and rant about, we're not obeying the will of the people. This is a Republican form of government, and this is what the majority of the board has decided. So I think that the township needs to be represented in this suit, particularly if it goes on to appeal, which you can't tell me your plans. I realize that. If it's dismissed again, if the trial court here in Mchenry Circuit Court will allow it to be amended again or add new defendants, I think the predicament we're in was entirely foreseeable before the suit was filed, that these are not the proper defendants to begin with. And I think that was the rationale of the trial court here in the circuit, the 22nd Circuit, in dismissing the suit. But if this thing is going to go on appeal, if it's going to continue to be litigated, then the township needs some representation. We can't get it from you because you're in a conflict with us. So that's where we are in it. Yes, it's going to cost some extra money, okay? But we didn't start it. The road commissioner did. And we couldn't stop him from doing it. Correct, Mr. Militello? We couldn't say no, could we? You can't?
This board can do whatever, I mean, if this board would like to intervene, then.
No, I'm not talking about intervention, because we're going to do that, okay? I'm talking about, we couldn't stop the township road commissioner from going forward on this suit.
No, the township and the road district are two separate bodies,
Right.
yes, absolutely.
So this puts us in a real predicament, the predicament that was warned about at the time and now has become a crisis because we can't get legal representation for what's best for Mchenry Township. And I'm talking about, in essence, the taxpayers of Mchenry Township and the dignity and the integrity of the whole Illinois statutory framework as it related to that statute. So,
I have a question, are you done?
yes.
For Supervisor Adams, what is your thoughts on this whole situation?
I know Steve won't agree with me, but now you have the state attorney general in this suit, okay? I think the state attorney general is gonna do an excellent job defending the position that this is constitutional, okay?
My answer to that is that may be quite true, but he's not representing us, he's representing the interests of the governor.
I guess the question, do you think that should we be represented in this case, probably would be a question that should have come from you.
I'm not an attorney, Steve is, but in my opinion, at this time, no. I believe that the state attorney general, you also got the Mchenry County state's attorney involved. They're all arguing on the behalf of the question that you want argued.
But I don't know if that's true.
They're arguing that it's not constitutional or whatever.
No, I think they're arguing that
I mean,
there's
it
a wrong-
is constitutional.
I think they're all arguing that it's the wrong party being sued. Not that the statute is constitutional or not, but if they're standing, would that be a fair appraisal of what the order was?
Yes.
Okay. So it isn't the constitutionality or the unconstitutionality. It's whether these particular
The issue of
entities,
constitutionality hasn't been addressed yet.
it's whether these two entities should be in it. Now, it may help things down the line for the township to have taken a position antagonistic of the road district commissioner. That this isn't some clear-cut thing coming from Mchenry Township at all. That there's a lot of division as to the constitutionality of the law, and whether township should even be in the business of attacking the constitutionality of statutes in the first place. Okay? Because that costs money too. So, we have all these question marks for the township board. Is it going to be an appeal? Should we be in it as a party? Should we intervene with our own reasons about why these are the wrong people, and B, the constitutionality of the statute, which is the underlying matter that the court hasn't addressed so far? Which I don't think the governor really cares about. But the taxpayers of McHenry do, and us as the elected board members have an obligation to make sure that their interests are at least heard at some point in this legal entanglement.
There's nothing on the agenda here about going into executive session, but I would think that we need to go into executive.
You don't need it on
session.
the agenda. You don't need it on the agenda. This board can go into executive session.
I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss this matter.
I guess we could do that, right, Mr. Ruffalo?
Yeah, I'll second that motion.
Well, you recommended it, right?
I did, and I would stand behind that, and I'd also stand behind the fact that even though it's not on the agenda, as long as it's an exception item within the act, it allows for you to do that. And so with that said, I would recommend that if you want to move forward with further discussion on it, and the wheres and the who's and regarding the specifics of that litigation, I would probably recommend that you all go into executive session to discuss that. I would ask that I not participate in that executive session for the reasons that we've discussed, but I would support that.
I have a question. If we go to executive session, it would just be to determine what lawyer they want to hire, this and that. But if this board decides to hire a lawyer, it's not going to be in that executive session. It's going to be in this public agenda, right?
Correct.
Action's always out here.
Okay.
Yeah, yes.
I just want to make sure of that.
You cannot take any action in
Right.
executive session.
Action's public.
Yes.
So it's just informational.
Okay, we have a motion to move to executive session.
We have a motion by Anderson, second by Rick.
Oh, okay, let's take a roll call vote. Anderson?
Yes?
Rakestraw?
Yes.
Adams, yes. Wojciechowski? And Bureau.
Yeah.
Can I make one comment or no?
No.
Very simple. Well, I don't want them to hire the lawyer that we already hired.
What the
We
heck?
hired James Kelly for the same reason, so you guys make your decision.
What is this? You hired James Kelly.
Just the same reason you hired your lawyer. We have lawyers too.
Who hired James Kelly?
Friends of Mchenry Township.
Dan, take good notes. Me, Dan, take good notes.
Mike, do you need a hand? You need a hand?
I can get it.
I don't need those. They're all recorded.
Are you coming in?
What's that?
Could you come in? No. Just for, just a small conversation. And then we'll ask you to go out.
Well, yeah, but the next time we have a meeting and it says review of executive session meeting in minutes, and they say there are none, I'm gonna be like, what the hell?
Decision making,
You don't
this
have
is a
to
discussion.
come out.
I don't want.
Mike, you want me to roll you in? I can, like,
I'll
roll
get
you.
on the floor.
Huh?
I'll get on the floor.
Are you sure?
Roll them in?
Yeah, I'll roll them in.
No, this is fine. I need to be on my, no, I need to be on my legs as much as possible.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that we have that ready. So here's my question. He's not in executive session right now, or what?
He can't.
Right. So true. I got a whole list of things to talk about. I got a closing meeting, or I think. Somebody put 3 minutes on there. Someone put 3 minutes on the agenda.
Who's on the agenda?
Yes, it is.
I didn't catch that.
Oh, yeah, I did.
I know.
Just,
Stiff and adjustable. Oh, I believe that.
Thrown out, yeah. Well, he did call us out though, when you're in the wait stage.
You called me up. What?
Yeah. I'll sit there and say that.
You have to allow it to defend yourself.
Yeah. And I did sit here and let one of them talk on for, was it 15 minutes?
Yeah, we really do a few minutes, you can talk.
Oh, thank you. Yep. Stan's gonna ask. Oh, jeez. I can't drink out of that anymore. So no, Jack, if your blowing nose was that bad because I was eating my breakfast before.
What's this? What? I'm just making it fun.
Okay. You and Jerry can chit chat, you know.
Is it true that Beer was not elected?
Correct. He was.
Yeah, here's the point.
No. And he keeps saying Beer was not elected? He wasn't elected.
Yeah, we made a meme about that. You know, Harvey Weinstein's been going to prison.
Who?
Harvey Weinstein.
How many counts did it say?
I know, I think they didn't get him on most important ones, but they did get him on the rape.
Did get him on the rape?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know they were deadlocked on Friday.
Yeah, he's going to prison for up to 29 years, which means he's gonna,
That's good.
yeah, he's gonna be in court.
And I'm guessing because this one went through, there might be others.
Yeah.
Less, it couldn't happen to a more deserving person.
And Harvey Weinstein got
Did he?
convicted.
What?
Harvey Weinstein got convicted.
Say that one more time.
Harvey
Mike.
Weinstein,
Yeah.
he got convicted.
Did he?
It couldn't happen to a better guy, a more deserving guy.
Agreed.
Are you married to John?
No.
No.
Well, technically, yes, but not, we haven't been together for
Oh, okay. I'm
9 years.
I just
9
wondered
years.
about your name.
Yeah, we separated about 9 years ago.
Oh,
We just never made
that
it
means
legal.
I can hit on you then, right?
Yeah, we just never made it legal. It's not like we had kids or
Oh, okay.
whatever.
Lawyers cost a lot, I understand.
Guys, the tape is still on.
That's it?
The tape is still on.
Oh, we can talk.
I don't know.
I just want to say, well, the township board trustees are in a secret meeting. That the fact that they call this meeting at 11 o'clock and a budget meeting earlier as well, at hours where general public are not able to come here, most of them, just shows that they don't have any interest in what the people of this township think. I also find it objectionable that Mr. Veer, the unelected township supervisor who is appointed, not elected, keeps questioning the political affiliation of people who attend this meeting. That's a violation of our right to public freedom of public assembly and public participation in our government. And I'm going to state so when the township trustees come back. Thank you.
And yes, I know the videos are.
Pardon me?
Yes, I know the videos are.
I'm sorry, I still can't hear you. you?
Okay.
You seem to be doing good.
Huh?
You seem to be doing good.
I have good days and bad days.
Ah, I get that.
Yeah.
Well, we'll take more good than bad, then we're doing better.
I do feel better when I'm doing volunteer work or public issues.
It keeps you moving and going, yeah. It's a good feeling, and that can change a lot,
Yeah.
you know? Especially when you have the bad days. You have
Right.
something to look forward to or whatever, it can help with that motivation,
Yeah.
you know? That's that feel-good thing,
Right.
which is good. That's always a good thing.
That's true.
Meltel's gone for the day?
I guess. I don't know.
Vote no to dissolving the township.
What?
Told people to vote no to dissolving the township. So they're not gonna talk about today, right?
I don't know. I don't know what happens when they resume. I don't know.
But those numbers like that,
Pardon me?
those numbers are just probably not, we're gonna want those right. Gotcha.
I already have that working on that. It's like 270. I got everybody working on all kinds of stuff already. 270 unique individuals. And it's been given multiple
But
times.
for the people that need the bus or using it, it's a difference.
Well, he's gonna give me ones that have special. Well, I would say the majority of ours are all that.
Okay, I just guess it's true.
I'm pretty sure it's over 90% is.
I can guarantee you, they're gonna do everything to put up all this meeting on record. They're gonna come in the meeting.
Right.
And they're gonna procedural, try to figure out what to take the whole issue.
Mhm.
And that's what I thought they did. So that we can simplify it. Something else. Because basically you can take what they're gonna take.
No, they can't.
We worked the whole car thing, they tabled it. Remember the abandoned car thing?
Yeah, but everybody agreed because of the question thing.
Yeah, but depending on how it comes up, you know.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever you, I don't even know. That, I have to post that today or tomorrow.
What?
The meeting. It's not on our website yet.
You gotta have it on my Wednesday, I think.
I'll probably do it tomorrow. I have my plate's pretty full for today. Tomorrow afternoon, I have a meeting in the afternoon, so I gotta try to get as much done today, tomorrow morning.
And I'm sure Mayor's gonna say, I thought, you know.
Is that what he's trying to get out of the?
Yes. On the minutes.
Out of the minutes?
Yes, that's very important.
I was gonna look at that.
We're gonna read it twice.
Huh?
No, but I mean.
But I think I have all your comments now.
No, he was the last.
The last sentence is
Correct.
missing?
Correct.
I'll take a look, cause I know, Dan looked at it multiple times, so he missed the last sentence.
Correct. And the reason we couldn't be on there is because the meeting was in posted. Now that the meeting's already on, it doesn't matter.
I saw the lawyer go out. Is he going out for lunch or something?
No, he's gone for the evening.
Where is he?
He's done, because he's not, they're looking to hire someone to replace him in the lawsuit.
Yeah. So he's not relevant to their discussion.
Correct.
Militello, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah. Why were they worried about Jim Condon not being here, Deb? They already did the road district, I thought.
Pardon me?
You said that Jim Condon was supposed to be here today. They weren't gonna discuss the road district.
Say that one more time.
You guys were concerned that Jim Condon was not gonna be here today.
Uh-huh.
He wasn't part of this meeting.
Yes, he is. It's on the agenda.
Okay, well, they changed it again.
No, they did
Oh, you're talking
not.
about the second meeting.
No, the first meeting.
The only thing you guys gotta go through now is general assistance.
And they have been presented with GRB and PHR's budgets. It's on the agenda, sir.
It might be, but on the first meeting, they went to road districts, very first meeting.
The very first meeting, they did not have GRB or PHR. That was just sent out the other day. Sorry.
There you are. Hi.
You see me, Paul?
How are you? Good.
President Brett?
They went into executive session, which means they are gonna talk
Well, why
about
should
things
this
they
take
don't
so
want the
long?
public to know. But they're
Pardon
supposed to
me?
keep,
Why should this
they're
meeting take
supposed
so
to
long?
keep
They're gonna
notes,
get a lawyer, they're not gonna get a lawyer, then they have to decide.
but they're
who's their
talking
lawyer.
about
I have no
hiring
idea.
a lawyer
I know you
to
don't.
I honestly
fight
don't.
a lawsuit at the state level or something like that, to represent them at the state level. It's, I want the speaker and. Okay.
Why can't I hear this?
Aren't these meetings usually in the evening?
Budget workshops are always in the morning.
Or are they?
Yeah. I can't hear this on here.
Oh, I think it's at the end.
I just did. It's repeating itself.
You wanna try over?
Just keep telling me to my thing, it's gone. I did it 3 times. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye, you too.
You know I get upset with that thing.
John, stop. Take that away, please.
Speak to me in language today.
Somebody said the video is still on, so you wanna go outside in the lobby? I'll put it on the speaker this time.
It's amazing though, like once you catch a cold, like you think you're over it, but it just takes forever to get completely over it.
Did you get the stuff?
No. I depend on herd immunity is what I always tell people.
What's that?
I depend on herd immunity, meaning if everyone else gets the flu shot, I don't need to get it.
Well, I used to get the flu every year, and since I've been taking it since 2000,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't got the flu at all.
I'm gonna knock on fate wood here. That is one illness that I actually have never gotten, thank goodness. My niece actually just had the influenza B, so I was really worried, but I didn't catch it from her, thank goodness.
Yeah.
But that is it, but the flu shot this year doesn't even protect against that from what I heard.
It what?
The influenza strain B that everyone's getting, like it wasn't in the actual vaccine this year.
Even if you get a different, even if it's for a different flu, it still helps.
Yeah.
Minimize the effects.
I know, it's gonna be one of those things I'm gonna have to do. I know I've been playing the odds, I guess you could say.
Unfortunately, with the extra administration, it's probably.
Are you 65?
No, I'm on disability profession.
Oh, okay. I was gonna be like, I didn't think you were old enough for Medicare.
I'm getting there,
Yeah.
although I only admit to 39.
You only what?
I only admit to being 39.
That's right. I'm only
In
29.
fact, Benny used to say he's 39 all the time.
I celebrate the anniversary of my 29th birthday.
Are you? So we've done getting fixed.
We are married.
Oh, are you? Oh,
Yeah, we've been married. It'll be 7 years this year.
I misunderstood.
Yeah. Thank you. No, we just have different last names because I'm lazy. I don't want to change it. Is that bad?
Well, Dawn just told me that she was married to John Guido,
Me, Debbie?
but she, I don't know if you were here when she was talking about that, but she said, they've been separated for 7 years, but they haven't.
Yeah, talk about it though. Because of the, you know. Because you're a famous person.
It's who called me, that's the issue. Oh, shoot, he was on. Hello. I just remembered. I'm sorry. Why don't you just come here and I'll treat you to lunch when you're done with the meeting. Yes, besides, you bring me food all the time, so I owe you. Yeah, well, I want to do it, 'cause I treated my other caregiver before too, so. Yeah, we'll manage. I'm sorry
You should buy us pizza next time.
They're waiting to see if we need.
Good.
Yay.
No, we're not,
What?
we're not, I gotta get my spoon.
They should have had us all figured out at their secret meeting. Sorry, do you want us to order you a pizza?
I think we got some.
You think they're what?
I think the office got some.
Oh, okay.
So we have this here.
See, we all get excited and it's not even that.
They're just trying to wait us out.
Sometimes I think that's what they are doing. Because usually before they go into executive session, like, well, we'll do public comments now or whatever, like in other meetings, which is kind of nice, but we still stick around to the end anyway. I just want to make sure they don't pull some stupid crap. Oh, geez, see, another freaking lie.
I've been playing with the idea of suing here for questioning people's political affiliation,
Yeah.
or at least threatening to do so. I don't think that's legal, should be legal during a public meeting.
There are townships in Michigan.
I understand. Half of what it says is incorrect, don't you understand that?
I know, I always like to like just prove
But
it.
make notes and we comment later,
I already have a ton of notes.
so that they know our township.
Don't lie to me, it's just me joking.
But I think
Oh,
he
that,
said-
I didn't know this was a joking,
I
I'm
would
sorry.
He said they eliminated road districts.
You know, you can Heimlich yourself on a chair,
Oh, road
back
district
with a chair.
commissioners, that's what it is, what he
That
said.
is what he said.
Oh, okay.
Eliminate road districts.
No. No. You. Shoot.
Just me.
Recording John, as a reminder.
It's gonna be the 21st.
Right.
I haven't seen anything.
Oh, yeah, see, you're right. So, in Michigan, townships, or the roads are the county road commissioners, and most recently provides the option for county board to transfer road responsibility from road commissioners to themselves.
Correct.
Because politicians know more about taking care of roads than people that go to school for it. Like, God, I always say anything about that.
So the cost study was due the 21st.
I did the 22nd, I heard it wasn't the 22nd.
Well, it's way past that, so 40,000, hire a lawyer. What's the expense of mine? You guys have public comment.
You do too. Well, here's the thing though.
Yeah, but I'm on
So,
the-
so would it have to be in by the 22nd or 21st? Or could it, if we turn it in later, would it be, still acceptable with this? Like, you know how you do contract, like if you get it done on time, or else you get charged penalties and it goes.
I think that's a good thing that they're not.
I thought it was like 28, but I don't remember.
No, the bid package is 20. Well, what?
I thought it was 28, but I'm sure you know. I lost those a long time ago.
21st was due.
Yeah.
It was 21st.
Has anyone heard
Not
of
what
it?
I know, that's why I asked her.
No,
Yeah.
we don't talk.
No, no more. Anyway, all right. Thank you. So, never doesn't matter, that was me saying that. I'm actually happy to be here. Probably where is it in the commission? That we were talking about, so this is much better. In fact, I don't know if I'm gonna come to any more budget meetings. Cause can you, cause you didn't do it.
You know, here's one thing. I know you get your right across from me. So we're gonna get up there right at this soldiers.
Yeah.
This is just us.
Mm-hmm.
I do care for some of the things they're looking at. It's what they want.
Yes.
Not for,
And as much as I like Mary, she needs to have that sense of
Well,
honor.
you know, I appreciate that,
Yep,
because I really do, because we need to know where everything's going.
yep.
But at the same time, don't take the bill, it's $100, cut it down to 80. Now she's gotta go to 100, you have to have a special meeting, you give her extra $20. So it's like crazy.
Yes. Yeah, because
That's
it's
my
obviously
report.
so easy to get money over
Yeah,
there.
it's not.
Yeah. And then when they take like the fact that if they have to do an assessment or not an assessment, an appraisal, appraisal has a fee.
Right.
You can't just say you can only use half of that because you didn't use that. They're like, that's ridiculous. It is what it is.
Exactly.
So now I have an appraisal, I have to come to you because now it costs $5,000, which is what it cost 6 months ago, but you only gave me $3,000.
That's the part I don't think about the logic. There is none.
There isn't any, they're just cutting everything they cut, and that's like, but then also we thought is, we can't give them the extra because of that.
But they're not caring about that.
What? No, they.
Because I thank them as electors to put it back
Yeah.
in the journal.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because these are, they're complaining about how it works, like the budget, then they have, asking for the money, you know, that thing, where you say how much taxes you want, and then you do the budget and everything like that, it's like, yeah, so now, this budget isn't until next year, but we have all this money with that, you know.
How do you level for this money? How do you levy for it?
Yeah, that's the word, levy, thank you. The English is too
And it's not that, I think as electors, I have to do more research, I think we can raise the levy ourselves, 2.5% or something.
Yes.
And
We can
they
do,
listen to that too.
we can do anything
If they do, if they make it work.
Yes. So, if we needed to and stuff like that, we can do that.
And they don't want to see them back their heads around that.
Yeah, because I even asking, I was asking Mary a little bit, like for their salaries and stuff.
Yeah.
I said, like, after they're out, can we raise the
Oh,
salaries
no,
back up? And she's like, well, no, that has to be.
It has to be done before they're elected.
But it just won't be.
Right, so we have to have another, if we want to do that, we have to have another special meeting
Right.
before the election.
Well, no, I don't wanna do that, I wanna scare away to raise their salaries back up after the election.
I think, because then it won't apply to that group of people.
See, I think that should, I think that there should be a way that we can
No,
figure out.
because
I
the
don't know.
law's not written, I understand what you're saying.
Like, the law's not written that way, but we could like take the budgetary money and give it to them some.
No, not in tough salary.
Yeah,
Okay, that's the next election, whatever.
Yeah.
That's why you can do it before the election.
right, which makes sense, but then you have situations like this.
It's like, they didn't reduce their salaries now. They
No.
reduced the next people coming in salaries.
Right, yeah, which is zero now, right? We're gonna take everything away from the trustees?
Yeah, but Sue wants to put it back, we should do that. Right, Sue wants to put it back in the annual meeting. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about what was I thinking about the annual meeting? There's
Let's not
something-
discuss the annual meeting.
Yeah, let's get through Friday, right? Let's get through this week. But I know you said to think about it, so I have.
Yeah, right, make notes together. You know, I have to see if she wants to run that meeting. She's doing what I don't want to do yet.
Mike hasn't run the meeting yet,
I
but
thought it,
which one?
you ran the first one. You ran the first one.
Did you run one?
You ran the second one. And I thought I ran the first one.
Did we missed the meeting, didn't we? I don't remember.
No, we didn't.
Wait,
I like it, we missed it.
Mike Keller ran the first one, I ran the second one. I ran this one.
You want me to run one?
I don't know, that's why I'm scared.
Yeah.
I can't lie to you.
That's why I said, he wanted to yell at him, I said, just don't yell into the microphone.
I want to make sure I
Hey,
know
hey,
it scares me
hey.
too.
Hey, I've been wanting to yell at him since the last time I yelled at him.
But that's-
So,
that's
I mean,
just-
it's been a couple months.
But that's just it, you can't though, it doesn't get anywhere, it just gives them more.
It makes me feel good.
It took us
Yeah.
more to talk.
Yeah.
If somebody can get kicked out for interrupting someone in a meeting,
It should be him.
can the township trustees?
I would like to
Yes.
see that, I would like to
If
see.
he addresses us, he should be able to, because he does that, and nothing's done about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Because he could attack us, and we can't attack him in return, that's like.
yeah. I'd like.
Point of order.
Yeah, well, Sue and I were talking about like, you know, future meetings when they're like they're normal again, where you can actually recognize people during the meeting to talk, if they have something they need to say or about
So it
what you're
should be.
talking about. Yeah, I think it should be
And
too.
the podium should be over here facing them.
Right.
Well, it's nice for people at home to see us
It's
talking.
okay.
It doesn't matter if Veer doesn't look at people.
No, did you see me up there? Oh, you-
He pretends to be reading something.
Yeah, that's why I was bending down and looking at her, now you guys is to look at.
When we had the initial meetings on the study, whether we should do the study or not,
Yeah.
we don't have comments from people, how there is support, what do you think, you know?
Yep,
Because Rachel was there, we wanted to comment,
Yep.
Stan was there when needed.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't get out of hand,
Right.
you know? Especially when he makes comments about, he's gay.
Who is that?
Rami Malek, the guy who played,
Freddie Mercury.
Freddie Mercury in the last movie. I thought he came out and said he was gay. Well, then, yes, it's kind of funny. I swear to God, that's what I heard.
Oh, look at you, John.
What tabloid did you read it in? No, just
See
kidding.
what?
What tabloid did you see it in?
It was on page 6.
Hello.
That's too funny. As soon as the phone was ringing, he's like, oh, I gave her the wrong.
I'm like, this is to the basement.
Oh, man.
About that.
I can't believe it. They've been in there for an hour.
They're still in there?
Yes.
I'm gonna I might be going to Steak and Shake and taking this chili.
But right now or in general?
Well, soon.
Stinker, go back there.
Restaurants diabetic. It's supposed to be a big ass hour.
It could be an hour, who knows?
It's gonna be an hour.
Huh?
It's already been an hour.
Yeah. You make your choice, but I'll choose you too much.
Hey, what if Jimmy John's gonna make money there?
You're going to not from Jimmy John's, thank you though.
Well, they deliver freaky fast.
Yeah, within 5 minutes only.
We should do your thing and
Get a pizza? Yeah, it takes longer though. We should have thought about it before.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't think it would be this long. I figured.
They're eating pizza, so
They are?
yeah, that's what Craig said. They ordered a pizza in the office. So they're eating back there.
Why you guys just sitting out here?
Yeah.
Oh,
I can't
wow.
eat pizza.
I did me in pizza.
Yeah. I just don't like Jimmy John's. I'd rather.
Well, go ahead and get some things done. Well, thank you. Okay, I know it's boring. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for taking care of Terry for us.
Thank you.
Oh, no problem. My pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye, buddy.
Thank you, Mickey. That's Mickey, she's in Jonesboro.
Oh.
I've been telling her.
She's gonna come vote, right?
Huh?
She's gonna come vote, right?
I hope she is.
The vote.
I know she's anti-Trump.
Well, I just, most people that, if they come out to vote that are in Mchenry Township, want to keep the township services.
Yeah.
So I don't care who you're voting for, come out and vote, because it's on both ballots.
We got something, that Trump guy, two doors down from our house, he's got two township sites.
Yeah. Well, you know, John is, the secretary of the Republican Party in Mchenry County, some crap like that.
Township, right?
John McCredo?
Yeah. However that works.
Yeah, they have different organizations.
I heard that we're supposed to have a Democrat township or two or something like that.
Well, we have county board districts. Some
Yeah.
people argue we should have township leaders, but then there's some townships that have few people in it, few anyway.
Right, yeah. I just look at it as like a social network. It's just fun to get together with people when it gives you names to go and talk to, like, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's got stuff that's going on, just want to have somebody else to go to talk to. Like I know, you know, Missy's been busy with stuff that's going on, so if you had somebody else, because a district's bigger, so you have like a little township, a little less you have to worry about. And then she doesn't have to worry about so many things. She just has to worry about her township areas,
Yeah.
or however.
No, personally, I don't like the structure idea because it's a way of the chair of the party to keep control in a way. In other words, if you disagree with your district chair or your chairman, and you want to advocate for something else, or
I'm always a glass half full person when it comes to that, where I just think like, you can have discussions, and if you don't agree, then you don't make a decision. Like you just, from the Democratic Party standpoint, like going forward. But the Democratic Party needs to set what its priorities are. Like if you want to call yourself a Democrat, these are the things that you have to do that.
Is the Democratic Party the chairman, or is it the people, the precinct committee?
I think it's the people. I guess it would be, I don't know. I don't know how low you want to go, but I think it should be like a vote, like this is what it is.
Yeah, there should be a vote, not just the chairman
It's like,
dictating.
like for an example, for me, is Dan Lipinski, who I'm sure you're familiar with.
My brother is working against, for his opponent.
Yeah, good.
He doesn't know.
Because I feel like there's certain things that the Democratic Party stands for, and one of them is the freedom of choice. You don't have to like it, you don't have to support it, you don't have to, that kind of thing, but you can't actively be trying to limit choice of anybody. Like, I'm not talking about just for women's reproductive rights, but anything. Like that, you shouldn't do that. We're all about people making their own decisions, and, that kind of stuff. So to actively work against that, fine. If you personally are pro-life, then you can do that. But as your position as a Democrat, you can't because of that. And then you need to choose what you want to do. You can be an independent or something like that, But like that's a fundamental thing. The rule of law, choice, and freedom of choice for people, and helping your neighbor. Equality, I guess, equal opportunity. So like those are the main things, and if it goes against that, then there's a problem.
Like for instance, I asked Mrs. Funk if she'd make a call list for my mother who wants to make calls for the bus in the township.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, she's against Trump, and,
Doesn't matter. Like I said, it doesn't matter.
Missy hasn't gotten back to me for over a week.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I know she's got a lot of stuff that's going on, so I don't know how much she's been able to devote to that position.
That's true, but somebody else could figure it out.
Yeah.
Since the party.
You know who does? John Freedom. He's got a list of people.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to share.
No, it's not, no.
John.
It's not that list. It's from people that have signed the petition for putting the bus service on. So they're people that we already know that support it. So
Yeah.
we send out postcards to them to remind them to come and vote.
And I heard back from one of Warren's organizers that Warren doesn't want to take a side in the township issue.
Not that she doesn't want to take a side, but it's a local issue, and she doesn't want to get, she's got so many other things that are working out for the national thing. Yeah. So that's, she's flat out come out and said that.
However, the bus is an issue that cuts across party lines.
Correct, so it doesn't
And
need to be long.
it's not gonna hurt her to support.
Yeah, but think about her entire area that she's supporting, like with people, if she like picks a side for every single local dispute, she's gonna spend all her time investigating that and looking into that and trying to figure things out. So like I totally understand, she's a federal representative at the federal level, so that's what she needs to focus on is those kinds of things that are going on. But people can talk to her, like we've talked to her about it, and like personally, she understands where it's coming from, and she's rooting us on, like this is what it's all about fighting for what you believe in and everything. But she doesn't need to, and I don't think she should formally come out with something like that. Now the county board should, and they have finally, because there are local, Go away, stupid kid.
see the Jimmy John guy. So I bought, oh, I got that too, Barry.
I have to go to work, I got something I gotta do. As being the only person that works in the private sector.
What do you think I want?
Oh, hey, wait. Oh my God.
See where he was?
Yeah, I knew he was going to India.
Oh, where in India?
Where was he? Was he at the Taj Mahal? He was in Ahmedabad. Oh, well, at least he went there after me.
Yeah.
You know what's so funny?
I wonder how he got through town. Traffic.
Oh, maybe he went on the tuk-tuk. I just think it's funny that he called the Prime Minister current the father of India, and then went to visit the ashram of the actual father of India.
Yeah.
I was there. Yes.
You planning on going there?
Well, actually, I did before. Well, one time I was going to India. I looked to see what I could do.
Yeah,
while I
but
was
it's
there.
talking like your trip to India.
Yeah, that was not fun. I don't know if I would quit my job over having to go again, but I don't want to go again.
Did you find an extra line?
Well, there's a car out here, John.
What's that?
There's a car
There's a white
parked out here. Jimmy John's.
I don't know if it's Jimmy John. Yeah, that's not.
Oh, that's Jimmy John.
And that might be Jimmy John's. It's looking promising.
Captain Constable, welcome to the North.
You want me to go get some?
He ordered enough for everybody, right?
No, he came in and asked, and I said, no, I didn't want anything. I thought you'd be home by 1 o'clock. What?
I don't wanna pay for anything, but.
Yeah, that's true. We should go ask him if we have some pizza. I have stuff at home. I was planning on being home, eating lunch, and gone to work by now.
I thought this was gonna be a short meeting.
It should have been. It really should have been.
All of it should have been.
Yeah. Well, I mean, seriously, they've been in an executive session for over an hour.
Yeah.
I think they're
They're eating
they're looking out the windows to see.
Yeah. That's probably why the video's on, because they wanna see if we've left that.
Yeah. You're still here.
Should I go and do my impression of the three township supervisors, township trustees?
Well, it'll be on tape. Do you want to do that?
You know, I think they'll probably cut it though.
You can't cut, well, eventually this all gets deleted. It's not for permanent saving.
Well, if it's on YouTube, it's on.
Well, it is now, but
Yeah, but I'm saying though, if it's on YouTube, it's.
does YouTube archive everything?
Yes.
Since, I don't know, using a microphone.
Yeah, don't use the microphone.
Since this is, that nothing's happening, we're gonna do open mic. And here's my impression of the three amigos trustees, right? No, I gotta, wait a minute. Let's see if I can do it. I don't know if I can do my impression right. Wait a minute.
What are you doing?
Sorry, I can't do it. I can get my head up my ass.
That was not what I was expecting. That was good. That was good. Thank you for not using the mic. You never know which one will get later.
Yeah.
Oh, man. keep washing my hands and staying hydrated. Hey, Rose Isaac Lakemore says, order lunch and enjoy free delivery. Yeah, I don't think it's kind of far. No, it's not.
We're supposed to get like 6 inches of snow at least tomorrow.
I don't know if that's really gonna happen or not.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I got a half left if you want.
No, I have food at home.
I want a whole one, but I don't want to pay it.
You can get some free sandwiches.
And I'll just eat my own whole one.
Yeah. Carrie said they got pizza back there. I'm gonna go ask for some.
That's what creeps in.
I think it rained tonight, they're saying. The winter storm like kicks in tomorrow, so I think it's when the rain changes over to snow.
George Zimmerman is the guy who killed Trayvon Martin.
Yeah.
He's suing Buttigieg and Warren because they sent out tweets about marking Trayvon Martin's birthday.
Talk about a frivolous lawsuit, huh?
You missed my.
I saw it.
Oh, did you see it?
Yeah, he
No.
was in the kitchen.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah, you were over there. Okay.
Oh.
Maybe I'll use my 3 minutes to do the impression.
You probably should.
Sure.
You're opening our book too well.
Why? Can't be worse than we need on.
You can't have Dan laughing out loud, he's too loud.
No, I think you should do it, Kenny, really.
You would not be expecting it.
That's right.
I thought you were trying to get your face red or something like that.
Oh.
If that was the case, I'd be back there.
Didn't Veer run for township before?
He ran for supervisor, and he lost.
By a lot, I think. If I remember correctly.
He what?
By a lot, if I remember correctly.
You know, it's the way that that election was, because it was so spread out, because they had people from, like, Republicans, Democrats, and independents, it got spread out so much. And I think you could vote for up to 4.
Four, correct.
Yeah.
For
For the trustees.
Trustee, right.
And then, I think the supervisor and stuff like that, then it was one of 3.
One.
Yeah, you really vote for 1. So I had the numbers, it was one of my speeches, that you, lost by so many votes. Actually, the person who won by the most number of votes was Mary.
No, Dan,
Well, no, in general, Mary had the most votes.
Dan had 32.
No, I'm talking about from the assessment, no,
Oh, for accession, no,
Yeah.
the whole group.
from the, yeah, from the township, yeah. No, I'm talking about from all of them that are up there, Mary had the most votes.
Let's see, look it up.
From everybody that was elected that.
Yes, you don't.
And Dan was elected.
Thank you.
You
But
vote.
Mary had like 5,200 votes. Because he didn't spread it out.
Well, she had no one running against her.
Yes, she did actually. I think.
No. Oh, wait
What?
a minute, wait a minute. No,
Did someone run
No,
against
Mary-
Mary for assessor?
No.
Say that again?
Did anyone run against Mary for assessor?
Yes.
Oh. You're thinking about the state thing.
No.
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 Don't make me look it up on my
We'll
computer.
look it up.
What?
Hey, don't be there on me.
What, just making up numbers?
Yeah.
All right, well, do you trust me that the
You
first
are
time I
all
looked it up was
numbers.
right?
What's that?
Do you trust me that the first time I looked it up I was right? So I'll pull up my speech.
No. Why can't you Google?
God damn it, I Googled it somehow.
I really don't think there anybody against the state she did. But now when she ran for,
Well, she lost against the state, we never talk about that.
right, good Wilcox, right?
County clerk would have it under the canvas.
Who? Somebody ran against her.
Yeah, I think you're thinking the state one, not the local one.
No, because I looked up the.
She
local
lost to
one.
Wilcox, in the state.
Yeah, I know that.
I don't think anybody ran against her. The first
The
time
thing
Kara
is
Persky, the first time Kara Persky ran against her, correct?
Right.
Right, that's the first time. Second time, I don't think anybody went against her.
She may not have because you have to have all your requirements and licenses. You have to be certified before you can even run.
Yeah. First time she beat Kara Persky, yeah, right.
Right.
And then no one. That's what my mother told me.
There may not have been anybody the last time she
No, I
ran.
don't think so.
Just call her.
Mary, can you come into the assembly hall for some questions?
Settle it back.
She'll be like, are you effing kidding me?
Because Carol Persky did it for years.
Okay, so I won't say she beat anybody, but
Oh.
because I don't have that in here.
Oh.
I just say how many votes she got.
Well,
but
she's
she
the only
didn't-
one running too. Yes, I totally get that. That's
So,
not
but-
cheating.
No, but when I pulled it up, the whole point of it was that
You're being
her.
bearish.
No. When I did the speech, my point was if we were going to base our, who has the most power on the board based on what the electors have said, that would be Mary Mahoney. Because
She's on the
she
board.
got the
She's
votes,
on the
right.
board.
Oh my God, Bear, would you quiet? My point was, stop going.
Dear Lord, you do interrupt
Yeah.
everybody, don't you?
Yeah, but yeah, my whole point was that you can't,
That is so
hang your
rude.
laurels on the fact that you got 3,000 votes, that whoever you say gets to go by, but Mary's
Especially
voice
when,
doesn't count.
when that vote is taken in an election and nobody votes.
Jamie, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, thank you. No, but to answer your question, I don't know,
I don't think you get the roost.
I don't know how many votes Bear got, but Craig got 3,471. Well, yeah, that's why he's up there with the supervisor title. Let's see, how many votes did Bob get?
Heck, I just did all this.
We got 3,152. Dan got 3,281. Jim Condon got 3,503. Yep. Craig Adams got 3,471.
So what makes sure?
I don't have that on there. I think Bobby Anderson had the most out of those people.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why I didn't put it on there, but I just wanted to point out the fact that
Oh, that's what I was gonna
everyone
talk
else had
about.
better ones.
I gotta ask Mary.
Get more people. So, no, I think Terry walked it out. Like, I really want to say any of them, but
I'm not gonna know. I just want to repeat that I don't mean anything I'm saying is a threat. I'm just trying to stay fast.
right, so that when the minutes come out,
That's right. I'm just trying to stay fast. And I'm not trying to think, I'm not trying to threaten you with anything.
Did you bring us pizza?
I'm thinking about ordering now. That's yours. I don't know if you need it, if you found it on the floor.
No, I'm playing here. Again, can you put the trash can from?
Don't trust you. Yes, pizza in the trash can. Liquor, lots of that.
See, I don't know if I have a cost on Monday, so I'm okay.
You what?
I don't know. Actually, I don't even have to work on Monday. Monday's just my day off. You might have got to Florida the other day.
I know. I don't know. It looks like Jim Melatello was in Florida too. He was a little tan.
If I would go back again, we'd do it totally different than this last vacation.
How so? What did you do this time?
Florida's not a place you go for guys. No. You know, vacation.
Yeah, well, it depends what you gotta do as a
Well, it
guy.
depends on where you're going and what.
Well, look, I saw my kicking ass, but that's not why I went down.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, okay?
You went out there to relax.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say,
By the time I relax, you're at 5 days, and I get,
Yeah.
oh, you go back. Yeah, that's the problem, I golf, the guy doesn't golf.
oh,
Or else I
yeah.
would have gladly golfed for 7 days.
Yeah.
When I was up there, I golfed. Look out, look at it, so tight. I used to golf 36 holes a day, every fucking day of the week.
Wow.
But I had 3 managers, running my business, everything was cool,
Yeah.
a different lifestyle.
So my friend went down by Myrtle Beach, I want to say. And her and her husband, they golfed a little bit or whatever, but she said it was a really great vacation, that it was enough golfing, enough other stuff to do. And,
My 50th birthday, we bought beach, we shot to Myrtle Beach.
yeah.
Everybody,
Yeah, so you've been there.
yeah, Myrtle Beach. Back when life was good.
Well, it's not good now?
It's not as good.
Yeah.
It's good, not as good. When the economy takes 10 years ago, it hurt a lot,
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. Personally and financially.
I was,
Unnecessary stress.
yeah, I was okay luckily financially, but it hurt me
They
more.
stay on the,
Because I was in a relationship, I wasn't in anymore, and I was trying to get out of. We bought a house together, but we weren't married, so. So now when I hear people doing that, I'm like, don't do that! Don't buy anything unless you're married.
That doesn't matter.
It makes it cleaner. Yes. Because I would have to have gone to court and like fought it, and even then like the judge could have still ruled that against me or something like that, and I was like, but if it was a divorce, it's like it's 50-50. You either pay her
whatever, and he pays you, and you guys are done.
Right.
But then I thought we'd had to pay alimony because he was an a-hole, so. But the guy didn't marry me. I held out for a nicer a-hole.
Thanks. I should have sued for alimony from my ex, though.
No, because you're not a jerk.
I gave the first one everything. The house,
Well, she-
everything.
Yeah, my ex-wife took everything from me, like,
I gave it to her, don't you
the
try.
house, money, the dog.
I had a trucking company, I wanted my company, give him the rest.
Yeah.
He gave her $1,000 a week.
Oh my gosh.
Over 20 years in the first place.
Oh my
1962.
Wait, 1962?
No, 1962.
Oh. I didn't make that much. Yeah, no, no. Yeah, my uncle's been through 2 marriages.
More like tormenting.
I remember it was his first or his second one, and he's just like, I don't care. It's all painted now, take it all, I just want to get away from it. Yep. It does.
Whose is this?
That's the fighting part of it.
That was on the table over there.
Well, it was on my table now.
That enjoys a little
gift.
here.
Yeah, well, that's,
You can go back on the table.
Okay, I reconvene this meeting at 1:17. So we're back on new business, discussion of hiring outside counsel to represent Mchenry Township in the legality of the case of Mchenry Township Road District regarding the constitutionality of the State of Illinois Public Act 101-0203. Possible action.
So I'll make a motion that we move forward with discussion and look into hiring an attorney to defend us in that lawsuit.
Okay. We have
well,
some-
not to defend us, represent us.
Excuse me,
Represent.
you're right.
We're not a defender.
Words are correct, thanks for the correction.
Okay, so
Represent us.
Second?
first and second, let's have a roll call vote. Mr. Anderson.
Discussion.
Oh, it can be discussion. I thought we had discussion.
We have, but I mean,
Okay.
isn't that the proper order though?
Yes, you're correct. I often forget that. Okay, no discussion being heard. Let's have a roll call vote. Mr. Anderson.
Yes?
Mr. Rakeström.
Yes.
Mr. Adams votes no because I don't think we should do it at this time and spend money. Okay.
Well, then what time would you say?
I would wait till the Attorney General, see what happens there before we do anything, because I think it could all get dismissed there. That's my opinion.
And we might be shut out from doing anything.
Well, but that's just my opinion. Mr.,
And I think we should at least wait until the results of the referendum, so I have to vote no.
okay, Mr. Beer.
The referendum outcome doesn't make any difference
Mr.
at all.
Beer, I'm asking for a vote, not an opinion on
So I vote yes.
that. Okay. 3 yeses, the motion passes. Okay, we will look into this and come back with it. Okay, are there any more board member comments at this time? Okay, any more public comments at this time? Okay.
Stick around for an hour and a half.
You think you're sticking around for nothing? All I want to say is that it appears sometimes when I say something, I come across very aggressive. I don't mean to be aggressive at all, nor do I mean to say anything I say is a threat. I'm just giving my opinion. Back to the budget thing. I thought you should put it back in the budget. I was just honestly trying to give you an opinion as an elector, that I'd rather you guys put it back in the budget than us go through this whole process. It's the same thing with the attorney thing I mentioned before you guys went to think. I don't mean that as a threat. I just didn't want to see you guys go along and try to hire the same lawyer we already have. Because he would tell you the same thing. He can't represent you. That's all I meant. End of the day.
J.B. Rouse, Mchenry, I think you guys should order pizza next time if you're gonna go into executive session for an hour and a half. Just a couple things from the meeting that I want to point out about hypocrisy. Someone on the board did mention that Jim Militello, is the township lawyer. He is not the lawyer for the township board. He represents the township, the electors, people that live in the township. So to sit there and act like he's a conflict of interest because of what the board wants as opposed to what the township wants is not factual. Also, if you state in public that your job makes no sense to you, then you should resign and not burden the rest of us with your inability to understand your own job. I also resent the fact that you imply that some Democrats are somehow not residents of the township and their opinion doesn't matter. And also, about the constitutionality of laws, you said we shouldn't be challenging the constitutionality of laws. But this same board, just at their last meeting, voted this township, or put in a letter, that they are a gun sanctuary township because you were afraid of laws that were to be passed that might be unconstitutional. So that kind of hypocrisy is blatant for everyone to see. And what you guys talk about and everything like that, you need to understand and listen to what you're saying. I will repeat again about the waste of money. We paid $9,000 for a study that has never been turned in by a company that we all told you was kind of shady and shouldn't be spent on that money. And now you're going to go forward and hire a lawyer, because we all know you're going to, and spend money for something that doesn't even impact the board and is not in the best interest of the township. So just know that every month now, between now and next March, when you guys are elected out of office, is going to be excruciating from both sides. Because we have to hear what you say, and we're going to call you on what you say. So hope you guys have a really great week. Hopefully I don't see you again until the next regular board meeting. Thanks.
John Starr from Mchenry. The bus service was voted in by the electors in the election of 1899. Go ahead and look it up, please, Mr. Veer, because I know you have that. I know you can do that. And people are talking about stuff being agreed to. Oh, why don't we have it in the November election when everybody votes? Which is the same thing I want to pose again. Why don't we have the township election in November when everyone votes, so that we can elect good township trustees and not just the handpicked people that want to run? Okay? Don't be always saying that, oh, you're doing this just because it's March and nobody's going to run. But your own election was the same thing. Thank you.
Good afternoon. First, I'd like to object to the fact that one of the trustees continually questions the political affiliations of people who attend a public meeting. I believe that should be considered unconstitutional. This is not a political meeting, is it? And Mr. Veer always talks about elections mattering. First of all, you weren't elected, Mr. Veer. You were appointed. Secondly, there was an election recently where the voters voted to keep the highway division of the township, and it doesn't seem like you're interested in the people's opinion. There's going to be ballot initiatives next month on the township and the bus, and you're still not interested in what the people have to say or representing them. What's more, I'm told secondhand, I wasn't there, so I'm not sure if this is true, but I believe I was told that Mr. Anderson and Mr. Cragshaw, I apologize if I'm not saying your name right, were at a senior event before your election, and you pledged not to interfere with senior services. Eliminating the township, eliminating bus services would do that. Finally, the lawyer that you're hiring is not here to represent the township. It's here to represent the views of 3 people. You will know the views of the township in a month, less than a month. But you're not interested in waiting for that. You're interested in only representing yourselves. And finally, Mr. Veer asked, how many people is this bus serving? I ask, how many people does it have to serve for people's welfare to matter? Thank you.
Okay, that's it, okay. Motion for adjournment? Oh, one thing,
When's the next budget hearing?
It'll be next Monday, if that's all right with everybody?
9 o'clock?
10 o'clock? All right,
9.
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. All right?
Could I reply to,
Yeah, I suppose you can, go ahead.
sir, I don't know who told you that, but it was false. We never did. I can tell you that we never went there and said anything like that.
Okay.
Wait a minute, I was there.
Well, I wasn't.
I wasn't there.
You were both there. I wasn't there.
I was not
It was,
there.
they were playing bingo.
No.
Yes,
I was not there.
there was a luncheon and there was a big.
Motion to adjourn. I meant motion to adjourn, second.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None being heard. Motion, meeting is adjourned.
Did you recess the last meeting? Don't you have to
I
bring that
adjourned
back?
it, I adjourned it.
The budget meeting?
I did. Yep.
So when I get back here, we don't know that in the last meeting.
You know, you realize you do have the GRB budget, you do
On the agenda.
Yeah, okay, so you can look at it.
Yes, it is, thanks. How'd you get it? Oh.
Good day, gentlemen.
Bye.
You don't even hear what I say at all. I say the truth.
Business.
What's that?
It's business.
It's great. I'm not here to cause crap. I just call this current. That was 15 minutes. That was the,
So how do you find out if the video stopped?
What?
How do you find out if the video stopped yet?
I don't know if there's a key over there when he turns that off. It's probably still on.
Yeah, I see a red light. Did they feed you back there?
No. I was smart enough to know that this is gonna be an all-day affair, so
Yeah.
I picked up 2 breakfast sandwiches this morning, and that's why I was hoping we'd break. I would pass out anyway.
Actually, yeah. Well, it was great seeing you guys. See you on Friday.
You made some comment about the lawyer representative. He is
What?
Jim, no, I don't know, he is the attorney for both the township board and the road district.
Yeah, not the board, the township. Like,
The township, yeah,
Yeah.
which is still the board.
right, but he said you represent the township and you're going against the will of the board. And it's like, it's,
Well, they're going against the will of the people, so
right,
it's-
So
yeah,
what's the-
that's my point about that. It's like you caught yourself in the same thing. He's doing a good job representing the
they
township.
don't care.
No, they don't.
They had to move to a country where it's a dictatorship. They do very well.
Oh, they probably have something else to complain about.
If-
then.
I'm gonna send you a link on Messenger to Oak Street Stooges.